So shit. We are back after a few days. Today we have lots of stuff planned. We are going to fight Wall of Flash. That's at least a goal. I still want to spend a bit of time in pre-hub mode. Let's get the people in first. And turn on some music for now. So. It works. Okay. I think that's good volume. Danas! Hello, Danas. I think that's good volume, yeah. Welcome in chat, Danas. Today we got big plans. Just waiting for the people to arrive and then I'm gonna announce what is planned for today. Let me remove this song from the playlist. Oh, it's great. Okay, we're hopping right in. Let me just check out what's going on. Okay, we got 10 hours total playtime right now. Where's the password? Let me just find the password. I've been a bit busy in real life. I'm not getting a side job and stuff like that. But now I should be more active again. Or let's say I should have more time to follow up on my Twitch hobby. So. Okay. Let's hop into the Terraria voice chat. Welcome to the Blood Moon, Maxi. Oh, Zed is online. That makes me happy. That makes me really happy. That makes me actually happy, like seeing people like appreciating the opportunity for this playthrough and just seeing them online. That's cool. Yo, what's up, boys? What's up? Yeah, since we got the people in here right now, today is planned. First of all, check out what is going on. Like, what the fuck is going on, brother? I just logged in after 2 days. What happened? After that, we're gonna see if we got all the potions and everything we need for Wall of Flash, baby. I'm also gonna check out if the arena is ready. Error had the task to finish the arena. I'm pretty sure about that. If not, we're gonna do it. And we gotta check out a bunch of other stuff. Of course, we're gonna hop into hard mode today. And thus, we're gonna be noobs. Very bad feeling of Terraria, but it is what it is. Okay, let's check out what people did. We have a house here. Yo, is that the fucking spawn house? Yo, Yo! Error! Good job. That's crazy. Who's Sebastian? Okay, yeah, this guy. Very useful guy. You can like, even if you wear armor, you can still show your normal clothing. What is this shit? Okay, things happened, that's for sure. Things happened. Let's see what's going on. We have this spawn house here. We got a beautiful redesign. We got the machines going on right here. that we recently talked about from the Old One's army. We got the lava trap for the noobs. Okay, this is still the same. I honestly believe the whole map has been discovered by now. Have anyone been to the left side? Let's check out the other houses. Let's check out the other houses. Go to the pillar which is up here. What happened to Terraria, by the way? Why is the texture so different? I think I haven't played this game in ages. It's been 3 days in the whole game. It's Blood Moon. Ah, okay. Let's check out this. Okay, yeah, we know about that. What about this? Brother is off there for 2 days. Brother made a whole jungle. Nah, this is lit, brother. This is lit. Look at that. This is all self-made, by the way. This is not natural. Crazy. Even implemented the pylon in his base. Very cool. It goes down here. We got a tree right there. Okay. Chat, what do we think about this base? This is very advanced shit. But where's the exit? Where's the exit? You forgot about an exit. Do we use this exit? Ah, here's exit, okay. Alright. Nothing new here. This is my base, by the way. Wow. Hallelujah. From Billy and Willy. Let's go. 59. Ah, now I know why you brought 59. Oh my goodness. Brother. We are 1 follower away from 60 followers. Who's Stefano? Who are all the new people in here? What is happening with the new update? So many new NPCs. We got this. Deer clubs, yep, alright. This is our progress basically. We got Cthulhu, we got Kingston, we got Brian, we got Creamby, we got Skeletron, we got Deer clubs, and now today is planned Wall of Flash. That's the main goal right now. Everybody should have in mind Wall of Flash. After this Blood Moon is finished, we'll check out what's up in hell. Am I ready for hell, chat? I think so, right? We are basically overpowered. Maxed out pre-hard mode. Yo, Witch, what are you doing? Okay, Blood Moon is done. We're ready for Wall of Flash. If everybody... I guess 80% is not watching my stream. Everybody get ready. Which they actually should. I actually really would be thankful for that. But whatever. Everybody get ready for Wall of Flash. We will fight within 1 hour. Let's check out the hell. Like, what is ongoing there? In there. Did anyone make the arena error already in there? Yo, Error, how's the progress, brother? How's the progress? Are you ready? Yeah, we're gonna make a small statement round in a minute. Would be great if everybody could enter the voice channel. Meow. Hello, my brother.
I just opened the stream and I hear
Hello.
myself meow. Hello. Hello, hello. Hello.
I got some serious questions.
Some big, serious, real talk kind of questions coming.
Yeah. I got some deep questions. Everybody, come a voice
So
channel.
Sit down in a circle and have some like therapy session.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we got the arena already right there. Oh, this bow is amazing as fuck. I love it. Okay, it goes to the right. Should be good. We only need half of the hell. At least that's what you usually take to beat Wall of Flash. Let's get the door right there. Nice. That's 2 doors, 2 Wall of Flashes. Probably have bunch more voodoo duels. Yeah, I'm just gonna check out the arena, what we have to do, what we have to improve. If it's good like that, there's no holes, so the lava is not gonna go through, right? Yes, wait, no, platforms, lava goes through. Yes, it goes through. Yeah, Error looks very great. Should be good. Let me just see real quick. I also have no summoners. We should make summoners, that's for sure. Imps. We need imps. Yeah, I still want imps. Like, I don't know anything else, bruh. Vampire Frog? Alright, make me Vampire Frog, brother. Arena looks great. We got the platforms going. Oh, it's not to the end. This is not enough. This is not done, I think. Even though this is this is largest map size. Usually play on. What did we play on, Donners? We always do largest, right?
Yeah. Well,
fuck. Alright, then.
I double the size of the largest world.
Yeah, then we need to.
Not often.
Then we have to keep
like that.
going with the arena because yeah, I want more. What do we need, Error?
I mean, we could try and just see and use YOLO it.
Yeah, sure, we can.
Actually, wait, I'm looking on the map. Wait, actually, this is gonna.
We can.
Maybe it will work.
We can try. Yeah, we can try. Let's try it. Actually, let's try it. All right,
especially
so
with like everyone attacking it at the same time.
Let's try get data and then improve. Everybody, get ready. Get potions. We're gonna start in about 5 minutes.
Oh boy.
As a side note, I'm far from
It is. Somebody got my 19 gold. You can keep it, Error. We are about to fight Wall of Flash, baby. Oh, we got the spectating.
Oh wait, I don't have. Do I not have?
Have you tried the dashing changes? It's actually crazy nice. No, I haven't. How do you do this?
Yeah, go into settings.
Yeah.
Controls.
Yeah.
Then scroll down. It's almost at the bottom of the blue top. Like there's many sections. There's
double dash dashing. It's on right now.
Yeah, you can disable that, and then you can set a hotkey, and it's actually so nice having it. Like,
what hotkey do you have?
I have it bound to F, and then I also set F on my mouse. So like it's like my thumb button. I dash with my thumb. So I'm just like always. I can like switch directions instantly. It's just like instant acceleration, instant going the other direction. Like I don't have to lift my movement keys. Like I don't have to like double tap. Yeah, that's so nice.
Brother, you know what?
Was it?
it's a huge improvement for the Terraria community.
Yep. I mean, it was already a thing for the Terraria community. It's just like for the 3 people that unironically played vanilla without mods. Then yeah, now it's a feature for them as well.
Definitely, yeah. By the way, if you want to chat with me, I recommend Twitch chat. I oftentimes skip in-game. Max, this is a teleporter, by the way. The one off the spawn. I'm not sure what you're talking about. I'm already gone. I'm like freestyling, brother. On the left. I have no idea what you're talking about, brother. I'm already in my base. On my left is a fucking hailstone furnace. Let's check this out. Oh, yo, Billy! My brother salt shit. Yeah, this is emptied. I mean, whatever you do for good, right? Good is like... It's mandatory in this game. Superheated blood. Equipable. Someone's a rideable lava shark mount. You what? Brother, thank you. This is slow as fuck. Brother.
It's meant to be.
You make me older than I am already in this game, brother. What the fuck is this error?
Merchant, by the way.
You can try someone else with that shit. We got the obsidian shit. Okay, yeah, potion-wise, I would say I'm ready. Potion-wise, I would say I'm ready. We definitely need everybody to get up to date right now. So, yeah, this is the reason why I wanted everybody in this voice channel right now. Let's see. Is everybody in voice channel who's on it right now? Where's everyone on the map? Oh, here. Okay, we're gonna make a little interview around real quick. So, everybody, tell me your current progress, and second question, are you ready for Wall of Flash? So basically, you can see my stream, I got the Nimble Star Cannon, I got the Phoenix Blast, I really like it, Hellwing Bow, Bee Bow, equipment wise, plus damage, yeah, I'm full damage. I have to exchange this for something. Good that I'm checking, holy shit. Okay. We have to get I need 2 accessories, gotta look for something. And then we see, gotta exchange to +4 damage. Potion wise, I am ready, I would say, yeah. Need food. Yeah. Okay, I'm like 80% ready. Give me 10 minutes and I'm done. Okay, next up, Danas.
Me?
Yeah. Current progress and how you feel about fighting Water Flash.
Current progress, I'm trying to get some potion materials for like 1 more potion. And in terms of like, other than that, I might swap out one of my accessories. Like I might replace the wings because I don't really need wings because it's just straight running. So I might go for a damage accessory. Other than that, I think I'm ready. Yeah, I have wings.
Yeah.
And I don't.
Oh!
I hope I don't need them.
Wait, you have
Sky
wings.
Island fishing.
Fishing, alright. Yeah, I'm not gonna do it right now.
They can spawn in the Sky Island, but like it's super low chance, so you just have to get them by fishing.
It does sound good. If anyone wants magic damage increased potions, let me know. There's some here.
They're called fledgling wings. It's the one you spawn with if you've ever tried what do you call it? Fucking journey mode. They have like no flight time at all. They're mostly just like a cosmetic. Yeah, they just look really cool. That's why I use them. Even when I get later wings, I always keep the fledgling wing as like the vanity item. Also, yeah, stop fall damage. That is true.
Right. I need equipment. I need good equipment in here.
I still plan on using them like immediately after. It's just like for the fight specifically.
Okay, next up we have in the round.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
We have Ziede. Ziede, please, your current progress. If you're missing some stuff. And how do you feel about Wall of Flash?
First up, I'm not ready for Wall of Flash, not in the slightest. I don't even have all my hearts. Secondly, I'm ill-equipped by anything above the brain at the moment.
Alright. We're still gonna try it though. We're still gonna try it. I recommend. What do you need specific, Zide? Like, what are you missing? Like, are you missing best armor? Are you missing weapons, potions?
Maxi, let me put it this way. He was doing the old one's army earlier, right? And he was dying every single time.
Yeah. I'm
So-
too noob to understand what he's missing, though. You need armor, right?
No, I'm good on armor.
Okay.
So what armor? Well, like, what are you playing? Like ranger melee?
Currently, I'm just playing a mix.
There's a
Makes
60 magic damage weapon in here. Intense flower of fire. Do you want that, Zide?
No.
Alright.
What I'm searching for is a... No, goddammit, a fairy just...
You're
A fairy
searching.
just came across me, and you guess where she led me? Right back to the chest I just looted.
Alright. Okay.
They tend to do that.
Let's see. Is there anything? Slimes become friendly. That could be cool against the lava slimes. Is there anything else we have here? Oh, this is great, especially for Wall of Flesh. Like, especially for Wall of Flesh. Like, run away. Fully regenerates life. How the fuck do I not have that? That's like number 1 item in the whole game. Wait a second. I use it every single playthrough. I used to combine that shit. Let me check this out real quick. I'm super duper confused.
This is the third time the skeleton merchant just randomly appeared in front of me.
Pylon.
By the way, Maxi, for the pylons, you just have to be like kind of close to them, and you can press the map, and you can still use them. You don't have to like go next to them. Like, they have like pretty good range. You can like almost be in the jungle arena, and you can still reach it. Like you don't have to like climb through all of the forest.
Where's the tutorial guy?
It should be at
Spawn?
spawn.
Who the fuck? Yo, who changed all the looks from all the NPCs? I'm like, bro.
Bro, you're so lost.
I believe that the NPCs... Are they now randomized somewhat, the looks?
They've been like shimmered.
Ah.
Does anyone has the Philosopher's Stone?
It's a hard mode item.
Okay.
Hard mode.
Alright, last... Wait, actually, Ero, do you have the 19 gold still on you? 19 gold coins? Thank you, bro. I'm gonna go enchant. Let's go enchant Terraria. Who's who? I guess you're the guy? Yeah. Number 1 is done. Number 2 is
I
done.
may have covered up your hole a bit with the arena.
How expensive is this? 11 gold. I am not gonna spend 11 gold on this. I'm not gonna risk that. Yo.
Those shoes are material.
They are material. But
Are you really maxed out?
the thing is, they are material. But brother.
Oh, was it the anklet of the wind? Wait, didn't you get that? What were you missing?
I need ice skates.
Oh, alright, yeah, that's the already upgraded from the anklet of the wind, right?
I need ice skates. Wait, how do you get ice skates?
Your favorite activity.
Ah, fuck fishing, brother. Fuck fishing. Who likes fishing?
Alternatively, ice skates can also be found in ice chests.
Yeah,
Yeah, error. Give the surprise.
he doesn't know about water walking boots. There's no water in hell, brother. There's no water in hell. It's not gonna be useful.
Bro.
Stand here.
Getting the ice skates, that's only like halfway there. That's like only halfway to the upgrade. There's still so much more, yeah.
Bruh,
Who
bruh,
the
wait.
hell enchanted a
Yo,
boulder?
yo. I've been gone for 2 days, bro. I was gone for 2 days. I was gone for 2 days, Era. You have to explain me something. Then go down here. Wait, what? Use this and then go down here. Wait, what now? What is that? I go here, okay, and then the red. Ah. It's fucking grinding this game. Let me check this out. Is this free to grief or? Take anything you want, thank you, bro. Really appreciate you for this opportunity. Great for impersonating streamers. Yeah, food. We need food. Yeah, that's also useful. This is cool just for fun. And these are great healing potions, but we have enough.
I think I have one. I'm probably gonna use
Do
two.
this.
Like I have a honey stinger necklace, and I'm gonna replace the wings with a regular one as well to like get 10 armor penetration. That's my plan. With the bees. Yes, sir.
Way. Thank you, Era. Really great weapon right there. There's another life crystal. Yo, Azita, do you need life crystal?
Very much so.
Alright, I got you. I mean, Era got you. Metal attacks inflict fire damage. Display how many monsters have been killed. Reduces damage from touching lava. Violent cheat of Cthulhu. No. Someone's a pet turtle. Someone's pet dragon. Slime prince.
Who fought the... Oh. No, hello, Flame God, or however you called.
Wait, sorry, what? Zed's gonna die? Why?
I just stumbled across the fire god. Torch god.
Oh, I was the wait. Are you in my arena?
Apparently.
Oh yeah. I did torch god there like some days ago. I thought I removed enough torches to like kill
No.
it. Are you placing torches as you're exploring?
No, well, yeah, I did place a few torches, but...
That's probably why it spawned, because like there were like 100 torches. I removed like 10 of them. So if you put down at least
Well,
10, I
oh,
think
that
it
was
will
it.
respawn.
Advanced combat techniques. Have you used that yet?
Right. It's
Well,
just like
that was
a
torch
global
god.
item. We did, okay. Yeah, if we have used it, then it simply won't work.
Zede,
Which is
brother?
good.
Come.
Yeah?
Yeah. 1 second, I'm coming to you. I got a small gift for you, okay? I got a small gift for you. I hope you will enjoy it. Here. My love to you, my brother. Nice. And now I would like to get the lava frog. What? Lava frog? How?
Lava frog.
Yeah, the
Blood frog?
blood frog, yeah. Blood frog, bro. Give me blood frog, vampire frog, whatever you just said. Give me that
blood
shit.
moon drop?
Vampire. Wait, where is my...
Thank you, bro.
Do I? Yeah, so shark tooth necklace. Increases armor penetration by 5.
Yeah, you can have that.
On this, don't I?
I wouldn't use the red anyway, so yeah, it's great for like anti-grief bases and stuff like that, using the red. I mean, if everybody has the red, it's not really anti-grief anymore, but at least I can't grief your base, brother. I don't have that shit item. What, Azita?
Yeah.
Wait, huh? Is that a... huh? Hi.
Yeah, yeah.
Randomly.
Yo, I should upgrade the nymph cannon. Star cannon. 16
Oh,
gold!
yeah, Star Cannon, I was like, wait, what the hell is that?
Yeah, baby. Give me that shit. Oh, we need bullet. We need bullet. Where's bullet guy? You? Hello? Yes.
I think he's at the ice biome.
Ice biome.
Yeah. Xavier.
Give me bullet guy. Bullet. Basketball material. Yeah. That should be enough. There we go. Okay, guys, get ready. I'm like nearly done. I like 1 minute, and then I'm gonna drop the voodoo into the lava. Bullet. Yeah, this is great. This is not possible, not possible. I should do this for sure. Whoa.
Nice. Amazing.
Crystal? How do you get crystal bullet? Is crystal hard mode?
Yes, sir.
Tungsten. Yeah, we should have tungsten, right? What is this? Tungsten?
or silver. Tungsten and silver is like the same tier, depending on what we have in the world.
Alright. Tungsten, so let's go. Yeah, I'm just gonna go to the base real quick. You guys wait, please.
There's the bullets that shoot.
Swing. Here. Do we have the ores? Let's check out if we have. Yes, we have. And now, what we do with this is we go to the place and craft this. Infinite. There we go. That's done. Now we go back here, drop this, and the musket balls, where do they go? They go right here into throwable and ammo. And yeah, there we go. Recap potion. And let's go to hell. See you in hell. See you in hell. Oh, that fucking song is in my head. From Lost Records. Yo, am I gonna solo the boss or what? Where's everybody?
I'm wondering where Billy and Willie are.
I'm not joining. I'm way too fragile and don't have the right gear for it.
If you're not joining, then you have to leave for like 5 minutes, or else the boss is gonna be like twice as strong. Thank you. So. We're gonna check out if we are able to beat Wall of Flash in... Fuck you, brother. Fuck you. I need this boots, bruh. I need this boots. Yeah, error. Why do I have 4 damage? That's like such a noob thing, I feel like. You know what? That's like such a noob thing to have. We got the blood frog. Right now it's time to go to all to the right. All to the right. And see if we are able to fight
Don't you go to the left?
to beat Wall of Flash. Wait, where's he gonna spawn?
You start left, he's gonna spawn left of us. Like, it depends on where in the world you spawn. It would be quicker if you spawn him on the left and run to the right instead of running all the way to the right and running back to the left.
I think I would actually prefer running to left. Oh shit, that's why we are asking? What is Biddy typing in chat?
If you throw it more into the left side of the world, then it'll spawn on the left side. If you spawn on the right side of the world, then it'll spawn on the right side. It always tries to give you the most room available.
Yeah, we're gonna go right. I prefer running left. Yeah, Billy ain't gonna be here for the moment. This is like the moment everybody was waiting for. We are advancing to hard mode.
Oh shit, bro.
Like
he can barely like survive now. It's after Wall of Flesh, bro. It's getting easier.
Yeah.
Well aware.
Bro, Ziede, we got you. Error got you, brother. Error got you, brother. You can check the chest out. We got lots of hard mode items, endgame items, pre-hard mode. We got you, bro. Yeah, we got you, bro. Alright. Error, Danas, what are you doing? You're like dying. Huh? Oh! Not right now, Error. Not right now. Nah. Not right now, bro. You're waiting for Danas?
Why not have? Am I out of wormhole potions? No, wait, hold on, pause. I don't believe this.
Oh wait, Biddy's coming. Alright, let's wait a minute. Let's wait a minute. We're gonna be more people.
Potion, 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 potion.
So, okay, we got special guest incoming. The pro player of the whole playthrough. He incoming. Get here, Billy, get here. In today's day of age, people all have goldfish brains since TikTok is a thing. Come on, get here. We need to get going. Yeah, it's a true thing, honestly. Billy, hello, my brother.
Max. Yes, bro.
We are about to fight Wall of Flesh. Please log in.
Let me get Billy here.
You have 10 seconds.
Oh, no, wait. Let me get Billy as well. I don't know where he is.
Okay, get this guy on, because we gotta get going.
He was a girl asking me where I am. Like, brother, what do you mean?
Tell me how your progress is. I asked everybody, progress and how you feel about fighting Wall of Flesh.
Feeling good, bro. Finally entering hard mode for the first time of my life. In Terraria, never done this before. So yeah,
it's basically.
Let's fucking go. It's gonna be something new for you.
Like starting a brand new character in a brand new world, but like you keep all your stuff.
I wish I had that feeling. Like I wanna skip back like 1,000 hours and go to hard mode for the first time again. This is like very special feeling you're about to experience, Billy. I really pray that you're not gonna Alt F4 because I'm pretty sure that's what I did in the first time I went into hard mode. I'm not even lying. Alt F4. I mean, you're gonna experience it in a minute. Let's just get to hard mode.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's fucking enemies spawning in very soon. Like fucking random ass swords going through walls and random ass enemies that I hate.
Maxi, do you remember the turtles?
And I'm not making it up. I genuinely believe I Alt F4 and quit the playthrough in hard mode. What turtles? Ah, no, bro! Nah, nah, why you remind me of that shit?
And you live in the jungle because you
Ah,
choose to live with Billy.
shit, bro.
I cannot be in your house all the time.
Shit me,
Wait,
bro.
wait, turtles?
Wait, Billy, you know how in like in Terraria you start out in the forest and it's like the easiest biome. Then like you go to the desert, it's slightly more difficult. The ice biome,
Oh, yeah.
and then like the jungle's more difficult than like corruption and hell. Like it goes in an order. Well, we're basically gonna be reset back to like 0. We're gonna like only be able to barely survive the forest. And every
Ooh.
other biome is gonna be super late game into hard mode. And we live in like the jungle, which is like one of the harder biomes.
Yeah, that is not good.
So-
That is no good.
Yeah, we're gonna have very interesting mobs
Uh-huh.
in our base. I have a demon
Hey, now at least we have the dash,
I
like,
had a demon banner, but like close to like I put it at the bottom of the elevator, I think, because like I was farming for like a demon site like very early on. I had a demon banner. I think.
Alright, what do you need for...
oh, dash binding is so useful. Holy shit.
Error, what do you
actually
need for
so
the...
clutch.
what platforms are
actually- you
these?
can
Are
actually
these
dodge
just
now.
stone platforms? This is... Okay. I mean, since
Wait, I'm gonna
since
stop
we're waiting,
the,
let's do
dash
some
from-
stone platforms real quick.
The double walk. Can I stop that?
Right now, we're heading into Billy's base, and we're gonna grief stone.
Grief stone.
Yes! I need stone. Do we have stone, bro?
Yeah, we have a bunch of stone. Holy shit. Check this. Block.
Go out of it.
7,000.
I
7,000.
mean, bro, look at you. You're like, I don't know, bro. Willy Wonka.
Yo, thanks, bro.
Like you're not hiding any accessories, bro. It's just like everything is like on full on display, loud and
Holy
proud.
shit.
I gotta respect it.
How do you do this, Error?
I got the maid outfit, bro.
Hype and aura moments.
I can't make,
Why am I lagging so badly? Like, what is
stone platforms.
Could be because just like the more you build, the more stuff like you edit the world, the more like lag gets. Because like I
Yeah.
have kind of built like you and me and like Willy, we kind of like the most condensed. Like
Yeah, holy
like, a
shit. We
loose
have so
area.
much content, like, in just one little space.
Yeah, and also like all the vines like from like the jungle.
Bro,
like,
bro!
They have like logic to them. They move around in the wind, so like yeah, jungle it.
Yeah.
Not
I swear
server
that-
logic, so it shouldn't actually affect the server. Neither should.
No, we're not talking about
affect
server. I don't think we're talking about just like physical PC performance. Like the jungle,
Yeah.
like if you build a lot in the jungle, it just gets really
Max,
heavy.
what do you have
Like
a
slow
folder
down.
here?
It still shouldn't affect it unless you're at the jungle itself.
It's crazy,
Yeah,
though.
that's how it is for me. Like whenever I log in, I usually have like a lot less FPS, and then I go away from like my base, and it's just like perfectly smooth.
Ah, Greystone, thank you, Error.
Oh no, wait! I shouldn't have dash binding on the.
You mean grey brick, right?
Because
Grey
that's
brick.
Every time I
Grey brick.
wait.
Ooh, danke schön. Wait, dash bind what? What do you say about the dash?
I have dash binding on the left shift, but every time I want to like do like
Oh
what's
yeah,
it
do
called?
not. That's not. That's
Yeah.
not wise. Shift is like super important for like if you hover over a block, you press shift. It pulls
Yeah,
out a
that's the thing,
pickaxe with an axe. Shift.
Wait, so what do you
I
dash
have it
with
on F. Like I don't actually use F the button, but like I use my mouse. Like yeah, but like F is free. You can use F, and then I just rebound F.
Yeah,
back to
you
my
know what?
mouse.
I'll do F. I'll do F. F just makes.
Okay, if you have a like, mouse with like multiple buttons on that side, that's like the best thing. Cause like for me at least, like my thumb is always resting on this button, and I can just instantly press it. Like I can be running a
yeah.
direction, very quickly press D and dash at the same time.
Mew,
I'll turn off the double tap
mew,
dashing. That shit is
mew.
annoying as fuck, bro. Bro,
You
honestly.
okay, Maxi?
5 ADHD players versus one of Flash. Let's go.
Exactly.
Meow.
We shall unleash the beast.
Look at that.
Wait, do you use right click for anything in Terraria, like anything important?
Kind.
The
You can
left,
like
right click.
open chests, I think, and also like to remove buffs or like stuff from the like top left.
Yeah, I got you, Error. Let me destroy
think
some
of,
shit. This
finding
is
the dash
content,
by,
bro. Let's destroy some blocks.
Yo, where is Willy at, bro?
I'm gonna call Willy 1 second because fuck this guy. Let me call Willy chat. Come a call, I'm live. Let's see what he has to say about this. He's so not ready. He's like probably sleepy right now. It's a random as I see by calling him. Bet, give me a second. Ah, now he answers! Now he answers! When the host himself texts him. Alright, I'm coming, okay. Okay, Willy is coming.
I'll
Alright,
send a
good.
screenshot of my load over there.
Ah, Willy, when I text you, you answer! Of course, when he hosts himself. Hello, Willy, welcome in.
Well, for those that want like potion inspiration.
I gave Willy 1 minute to comment. He actually listened.
Thanos,
Willy,
can you combine the lower potions to like make a better one? Yeah, like, is that possible?
guys, Willy,
I have a ton
get
of
these-
lesser healing potions. Like,
Do they say material when you hover over them?
yeah, it's the same material.
Willy, I have a question for you. It's a very serious question. You're not ready for that, but for this I need your microphone. Wait, you can't talk? You have to talk for like 10 seconds.
Let's see what the recipe is.
It's a really, really serious question, bro. Like,
It's like,
Oh yeah, it's just blue
Yeah,
mushrooms. You need to
for
just
heavy
find a. Like,
It's
a blue
mandatory
mushroom
to,
biome,
like,
swing
be
around
able
with the
to-
sword and-
join us right now.
See, I'm probably gonna
Jeez,
go craft some of
yo.
them right now.
yo, the start is like kind of nice. Holy shit! Someone like
Error, like,
yeah, error really is like good at building and shit. Yeah, error. How did you get this wallpaper, like this white kind of?
who is ready for hard mode? I think no one is ready for that.
Traveling direction with. Oh, okay. Because it
I
looks
just got
cool.
rid of all my potions because like,
This shit's fire, bro. I can't lie.
I honestly believe nobody wants to go into hard mode, but we have to. We're like forced.
Sebastian.
no one is burning this.
I mean, honestly, bro, I kind of want to go into hard mode. Yeah, I kind of want to suck. I want to be a noob again. I want to have that feeling in like progression again.
Yeah, it's
So
not
we're
about
gonna go
being a
into hard
noob,
mode.
It's about like
I
having
low-key
like, the
regret
feeling
not
of going
doing
from noob to pro in hard mode. You know.
Exactly
journey
that.
of progressing.
Yeah, Terraria's like. Yo, really,
Okay, quick question. Is there any ranger shit in hard mode?
Right. Hard mode has like everything for everyone. It's like
Nice.
the game games. Like yeah, the game.
Let's
will get
go.
you
So we
stuff
have motivation.
to- Bro,
And
I'm
the
not ready
blood
to be
one.
smacked by the mobs, bro. I'm generally not ready to be smacked by the mobs, bro. Like,
Yeah, and jungle is one of the harder biomes in the game. So like yeah, I mean luckily you do live like on the outskirts of it. wait,
Yeah.
wait, pause. On the
We
right side
are
of your base,
ready.
there's corruption.
yeah,
Bro, that's even worse than the jungle.
bro.
Actually, is it worse? I mean, the jungle and Crimson are kind of equal in
I
difficulty.
mean, me really do have towers like built up to like kind of separate. I don't know if that's like good enough
Wait.
though.
We need to. What I'm planning on doing in hard mode immediately is like buy a bunch of like hallowed seeds and spread hallow like around the
Wait,
jungle
can you
so
have
that
like
hallow.
okay, I know this is kind of stupid. Or like any sentries in the game, like you know how Valheim has sentries.
Oh, talking about
this thing.
Valheim, bro.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
is that
Yeah, but-
happening?
Sentries are from like the old one's army, like the tavern keep guy.
Oh, there is.
Yeah, like the ones you use for the old one's army, you can use them anywhere.
Oh, really? Okay, really? Then we're getting sentries, bro. We're definitely getting sentries.
Not sure how effective they are, but yeah, they would be slightly more power. Also, yeah, Valheim, yes, there's still
mean,
no info on
better.
Valheim. Like, wait, there, actually, I lied, there is some,
Yeah,
there was a
give-
post that I read from Valheim, and they said, the developer said in a, like, I'm paraphrasing, they did not say this exactly, but like, somewhat like this. They said that, we cannot put a date on Valheim 1.0 just yet, but trust us, 2026 will be a great year for Valheim. This is what they said.
Ooh.
So like, who knows? Is it tomorrow or is it on December 42nd? Like,
Oh, you mentioned tomorrow, bro. That's crazy.
Yo, how do I
Nah,
turn
that
off
would be-
overlay? Holy shit, so annoying.
Overlay? Like, what kind of overlay? Discord or? in-game?
Discord overlay, because it kind of blocks out the Oh, there it is.
Yeah, settings to disable that.
Because it kind of like overlays the inventory. I mean the crafting shit. So yeah, that's like mad annoying.
Are there any buff stations we can make?
I mean, we're gonna be running away,
really,
so
I'm
like
gonna
they
make-
don't really have the range unless you will like
Not
spam
really.
so many of them through the entire arena. And
Alright.
like this is vanilla.
we
We
have-
don't really
do we have
need to do
glowing
that for vanilla Terraria. Like we don't need to go super
Do
overkill
we
as if
have
it's
glowing
modded.
mushrooms? Do we not?
With glowing mushrooms, you'd be planning just like find a mushroom biome and just swing your sword around for like 2 seconds. You have 500 of them in your inventory.
Yeah, dead ass. Wait, let me see. I'm turning my saturation up. Holy shit. It's like dark as fuck.
Willy! Can you talk, Willy?
Really, why not on the mic?
Willy is on mic right now. Hello.
Turn your mic
Hello?
on, bro.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yo.
Hello.
Yo, can you hear me, Willy? How are you?
I can.
Really, do we have any glowing mushrooms?
I
By chance?
I think we have a lot of chests.
Well,
Check
I
chest,
think this
bro.
should hopefully be.
We do need better
Good
healing
enough.
potions. Because the current ones we have are like...
Also, for buff
like-
potions, I highly recommend except like the first two, like the starship ones on the left, y'all, and unless you're playing mage, y'all don't need those. Like anything on the right, those are like very good, like for everyone. Like if that's your potion list, you're set. Like minus the first two, because those are like magic exclusive.
Yo, are we gonna start? Because like I told Zeal to like go offline. He's like,
He's just like, bro, just sitting there jerking up.
Yo,
the
sorry,
notification
Zeal,
told
by the
him,
way.
"Shit, that you have to leave." And he's just like, bro, sitting there for like an hour now.
Willy, get your fucking ass here right now.
I mean,
Okay, question
I have
for
stuff to
Willy.
do.
Yeah, okay, nice. Okay, Willy, question for you, brother. Hello. Okay, yeah.
Hello.
Okay, 2 questions. Your current progress, and secondly, do you think that you are ready for Wall of Flash?
Oh yeah, okay. So the first question is my current progress. I have 400 health, and I have 200 mana.
Will you?
I have like fully maxed my summoner, and then fully maxed my ranger as well.
God damn.
I have warding on all of my accessories.
Nice
I have 2
choice.
Terra Spark boots.
This brother is rich, bro.
For summoner, I have the superior spinal tap, the ballista rod, the eager imp, and then for ranger, I have the hellwing bow, the star cannon, and then that's it.
Bro,
Cannon, holy shit. Bro, that's everything, bro.
sounds great. We have lots of similarities, like we're like same
Yep.
class. Love that. Yeah, are you online?
I am. I'm
Yes,
Alright,
yes.
everybody come red team, of course. And
Wait, hold on, let me just put away some stuff.
yeah, come to hell, guys. Come to hell.
Golden key, don't really need that right now. Don't really need that right now.
If anyone
so,
needs
no?
potions, I got some potions. I got
Yeah, I need some like healing potions. I'm like,
I got you. I got healing potions. I got movement potions. I got defense potions.
shit.
I got life
God,
regeneration
okay.
potions.
god damn. Okay.
Let me know what you need, and I got you.
I need the movement and also need the healing.
All right, come here, bro. What about you, Willy?
Yes, sir. Wait, let me.
good. I'm good.
Okay.
All right.
Yo, bro, come here.
Let me do a summon. Let me see. The frog. Yeah, the frog.
Here.
There we go.
What?
I have a lot of
What
potions,
else do you need?
Wait, let me.
Oh hell yeah. Do you have any like a movement?
Yeah. What else?
I think I'm good.
Here.
Just that.
All right. Let's fucking go.
Do I place this bed?
No, you don't. It's just for fun.
Oh, you just threw it out
Yeah.
for fun.
Yeah.
All right, bro. I thought it was like, I was like, okay.
Willy, why do you leave?
I'd suggest placing the turrets at the edge, or at least pre-placing the turrets.
How do you have the bees? Isn't that like really good?
Well, the bees is just like a jungle material. Like after we kill the queen bee, like bee wax, you can just create the bee staff.
Mm.
I mostly just use them for aesthetic. I just like what they look like
Ow!
over the imps.
Oh, okay.
Wait, yeah.
Okay, wait. I have
Wait,
Wait,
huh?
wait. Hold on. I don't have. I have lava,
That's cool as fuck.
lava charm. Maybe I should have it. I don't know. But lava fishing hook.
Bro, if I press R, I'm so dead. If
Yeah,
I
hold on, don't
accidentally
stop,
press
I'm
R, I'm
gonna-
dead.
I'm gonna grab a better.
This is fun, bro. This is actually fun.
I need better equipment.
We should make some
Lock the eternal
swim arena.
horizons.
Yo, bro, let me out. Error, come. Thank you. Cool as fuck, bro.
I'll do warding ram rune just for the defense.
I just take full
Swing.
damage. Alright, I took my wings off. I take full damage. Bro, this is so weird. Wait, do I take full damage?
Donna, soon you should have the balloon, bro.
No, I personally,
Pink horseshoe balloon. It's so OP. Double jump,
I
increase jump height, and negates fall damage. Shit is OP.
Bro, I mean the balloon. The balloon's like an upgrade to the double jump, right?
Yeah, like it's double jump. It's the
Yeah, that's why,
the
bro.
horseshoe,
I
and it's also-
despise, bro. I despise double jump. I cannot for the life of me use it. Like whenever I get wings, I immediately throw double jump away. I hate that so much. It's
I
like,
mean,
like
I mean, it's useful. I mean,
it's useful early game, but like I like to fly around when I like fly down.
What are you
and I
doing,
wanna,
Error?
Slow down and I press spacebar and it makes like jump and hit my head on a wall, bro. It pisses me off so much, bro.
Oh yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah, that's like it's like a pet peeve of
Keep
mine,
going
bro.
with the arena.
I really dislike double jumps.
That is fair enough.
It's like I'm a
It's
wing
done.
user.
Ah, right,
Wings
nice.
and shoes, my accessory. Except for this
Bro,
battle,
we need the
took my
better
wings off.
wings, bro. We need the better wings.
Yeah, the wings I have, bro, I'm taking them off for this fight because they're basically useless. They're just cosmetic. Getting more damage instead of wings.
Oh, I will be using this for sure. Yeah, for
Bro,
sure.
the magic missile is so good, bro. I have to call the magic missile. That shit.
So good.
We also have
Bro,
the.
it's like the EM shotgun, bro.
Oh,
Like, I made a joke with Willy before too. Like,
Yo, be right back. Give me a
it's the EM
second.
shotgun, bro. Like,
Yo, does anyone has the hive pack? Shit.
wait,
One
why am I
second.
actually taking damage?
One second. I just noticed something.
Maybe I should lock him. There we go.
I am using a hive pack, yes.
Yeah, I need the
That's
hive
quite
pack.
an important part of the build if you're planning to use bees.
Yeah,
Which I'm definitely doing. Also, Maxi, where is Laios? Is Laios not here?
he's not here now. He's like, I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? Don't you live together, bro? What do you mean you don't know?
He is in exam.
Alright.
Exam.
That kind of season.
Oh, okay.
He has an exam today. Yeah, like actually. Yeah.
By the way, with the turrets, we're gonna have to, like, if you want like any effect from them, you're gonna have to be replacing them the entire battle.
Let me see. Yo, Billy, do we have hive pack? We have,
Which
brother.
I think is why most people don't actively use them during this fight specifically. But during more like stationary fights,
Of course we
I
have.
guess they could be useful.
Yo, chat. 1 second. 1 second, chat. I'm there in a minute. Yeah, just get ready. Just get ready. You got like 2 minutes, and
The
then
wall flash is like cutting the fuck out of him, bro.
I-
Like just running away to the
Yeah.
the left side. Just run away and just like keep shooting him.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Some fucking mail, bro. What is this? My mom earlier came into my room with some fucking mail for me. Probably some fucking
Mail?
government random pub quiz or some shit. Survey, I mean.
Oh,
So I'm like, do you gamble? Do you do any alcohol type shit? That's my guess. What the hell is this, bro?
I mean, I do in Growl Online. Growl Christmas is like the holy shit. It's like
okay.
They even
We
have this in
gamble.
Lithuanian. Wait, is this even from? Oh, bro, this is this is straight up just about gambling, bro.
No error.
Gamble?
No Billy.
gambling.
Or do I gamble? I guess I fish in Terraria. Does that count as gambling? Opening crates?
I mean, I would say so. You're gambling time, you know. Gambling time for.
So.
in-game currency.
Is everybody ready?
really?
Danas?
Yes.
Okay, I'm
sure, bye-bye.
coming. I'm coming.
B button ready. Wait. Before I do anything, I'm gonna clean my inventory. Ready
I'm
for the-
coming, bro. Coming. I'm coming.
I'm coming.
Give me a
Oh.
minute.
You're what?
Give me a minute. I'm coming.
Huh? Who said that, bro? What?
Who said that?
Give
Must
me a
have been
minute,
the
bro. I'm coming, and then we fight him.
wind. Must have been the wind, bro. Fuck out of here, bro. Fuck out of here.
It's nice potions, by the way. The potions of return. Oh.
Everybody, get your summoners
Would you
ready.
use the flower of fire? I mean, what seems like.
I'm
Get-
using the bees because I have a
Would you say
stinger
this is
necklace.
like the DPS? The
I have
flower
the
of fire.
shark tooth necklace. I have the hive pack, bro. Everything to optimize the bees.
Wait, where's ice, by the way?
I have no idea where ice is, bro. He's
We
probably.
have the,
He's
Things
probably.
slow as hell, bro. Look at how fast.
He
I
has
can run,
a
bro.
different time zone, Billy.
Wait, boy,
Like,
boy.
He has a very bad time zone compared to us.
Let me flex on y'all with
Like
my
error is still fine, but ice is like behind.
I mean,
So
Look at
Terraria
this.
and ice have the same
Look at how
time
slow
zone.
that thing is compared to me.
ice is very bad time zone.
You have the same time zone, I think.
Wait, you have the same time zone? Okay. Yeah, then I,
Philippines.
then I have no idea.
Sorry, I just had to flex on that Pokemon, bro. His speed was pissing me off, bro. I hate slow mining speed. He's trying his best. It's
Bro,
not
who's
good enough. Bro,
who's
he's
Digimon?
mining slower than a fucking copper pickaxe, bro. That's crazy.
Yeah, Digimon is slow as fuck. I think they nerfed him because I did see him in like single player mode. I did try him out.
This is
He
how
was
you
way
mine, bro.
faster,
Look at
bro.
this. Look
Ah!
at this mining speed. Except for the fucking hellstone, I can't mine that with this pickaxe.
This is smart.
Holy shit.
Whoever did this, smart.
Go.
Alright. We ready. I'm here. The boss has arrived.
Yeah,
Let me
let's
take
do
off
it.
my-
Let's do it.
Builder accessories, bro.
Boss arrived.
Come on, man. Let's do it. Let's get it.
Remember to press B and summon your summoner and everything.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Billy, get ready.
All right, let's do
Get
it.
up here, Goofy.
This is gonna be hard, bro.
So, 3, 2, 1.
All
I
right.
actually zoom out.
Oh,
yeah, zoom out.
I'm ready.
B.
Summon the bees!
What do you
Summon the bees!
I'm just spamming magic missile, bro. Like, it's easy. Just gotta spam this shit, and you're all good.
I'm full damage. Let's go. 400
Oh, that
damage
means
per
press B, lol.
second.
Fun fact: the lower the wall flesh gets, the faster it moves.
Good
Ooh,
fact,
wait,
bro.
hold on, hold
Actually,
on. Get back.
yo, I have 400 damage per second. Is that good?
That's pretty good.
The bees are really
like-
stacking up.
I have like really shitty.
Let me try this gun. Oh, the fire gun is even better. 600 damage per second. What is happening?
I'm doing. I'm at also at like 600, 800, 900 per second, 800, 700 with the bees. I think it depends on if you're targeting the
Okay,
eye
bro,
or
but
not.
how?
The eyes
How?
take more-
You're focused on defense. How are you doing this much damage?
like actual accessory effects. I have stinger necklace. I have 2 of them actually, and I have the hive pack as well.
Ah, alright.
And also it depends on what you're targeting. If you target the eyes more, you do more damage because the mouth is like more resistant.
Ah, yeah, I was like targeting the mouth.
Bro, this is like cake.
What is this?
Coming from modded, bro, this is so
Oh shit, this
easy.
guy's freaky. Holy shit.
Oh wait, maybe I
Yeah,
spoke too soon.
forgot.
I spoke too soon.
Oh my god. He is freaky as fuck.
I soloed him.
Oh my god.
GG's! 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 The G! Let's go.
The guy.
Yo, Maxi.
Oh my god.
Let's go.
Married us, bro. Holy shit.
GG's
Maxi
chat.
hard mode.
We finished
Ancient
Water Flash.
Scourge
We are
of
in
Light
hard
and
mode.
Last week,
Have been released.
Clip that shit, bro. You gotta clip that shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh god,
That has
I'm in the jungle. I'm scared.
Let's
Wait, let me see.
fucking go.
Oh. Wait, Danos, you're back already. What the hell? Oh, you didn't die?
Oh, I did die.
Everybody
Are you
died
back
except me.
That is because at 20% HP in Master Mode, the Wall of Flash basically gains an additional 50% movement speed.
God damn.
Oder Arena held on very
I'm
well,
going
bro.
back, I'm going back. I need my treasure back.
We won't need the half of it, Error.
Need my treasure back.
Menacing Ranger. Oh, the Demon Heart.
What did you get? I haven't opened my chest
I
yet.
got a demon heart. Is that good?
Let me open my chest.
That's like.
Protect me, please.
Like, that's
And
the
heal up, Error.
carrot on the stick for hard mode, bro. That's what keeps you motivated and going. Is the Demon Heart? Eat that thing.
I got shit, bro. I got shit. I got Summoner, Melee. Oh, Demon Heart. That's
I
cool.
just ate the demon heart.
The Demon Heart is guaranteed.
Boom!
I don't know what happened.
He buffed this?
Oh,
I
wait,
got the quick
quick
firecracker and the sorcerer emblem. Increased magic damage. If anyone wants to trade.
I have a Ranger and you have magic. You want to trade?
Sure, let's do that. I got the summon. I got this shit, Error. You want that?
Is the godly...
Firecracker.
Also,
No.
by the way, everyone, listen. If you got the wrong emblem, you can throw it into the shimmer to cycle through them.
Yeah,
so, like,
trade.
no matter what emblem you got,
Thanks,
you
bro.
can get the other ones by
I
throwing
got
it in
the
the shimmer.
rash sorcerer emblem. 50,
I got the
50%
Porn Hammer. 32 melee damage.
Born
I got the
Hammer?
godly Born Hammer.
What?
If anyone is
Yeah,
melee.
the way you say it makes it sound like very interesting word.
Yeah, I got the Porn Hammer, bro. Somebody get it.
Got the strong firecracker.
Putting it in a
No,
shimmer.
but, yeah, all I know is this game is gonna be hard as fuck now. Like, holy shit.
Wait, why are you going to the Shimmer?
It's gonna be
You
like
can
all
throw
good.
in the emblem to get the other ones. So like you can cycle through all of the emblems.
Ah, that's
and then-
right, bro. I got the magic one.
Oh, you got, I thought you were like trading with someone else. I heard they traded mine into a sorcerer.
Okay, so how?
Just throw it in and it cycles.
I don't think I can walk on that, can I?
Do you have water walking?
Yeah,
boots?
Billy.
Water walking boots. Yeah, I have.
And yeah, you should be able to walk on this. Easy peasy. There you go.
What'd you get? What'd you get?
Come on, right? Wait, are you telling me I'm gonna get 50% increased ranger damage?
43 gold coins.
And it's
bro.
material?
Yes, sir.
This is a dream. A dream is coming true, chat.
Brass sorcerer.
A dream is coming true.
I ate the demon heart wherever it gave me. Like, did I get one more equipment slot?
Yes, sir.
It gives you an
Ooh,
extra
that's nice.
accessory slot, and that is being used right now. Whoa.
God damn.
So does anyone want a pawn hammer? I have a pawn hammer. Anyone want it?
Hmm.
Melee?
Work on the goddamn pronunciation.
I have pawn.
Oh, I understand.
Is anyone
Not pawn?
interested in pawn
pawn
hammer?
hammer.
Melee
Pawn hammer.
class. How is nobody a melee in here? Do we have any melee?
Jesus Christ, yeah. Max, why did you name it that?
Because pawn, bro. Alright, let me go back.
That's not how spawn
Hammer.
is spelled. What
This guy
the
talking about
hell?
Yeah, it's really pawn, bro.
Billy, can you
The
help me?
pawn
bro?
addiction is kicking in, brother. Let me come to the basic trick, Billy.
Nah, man, this is
I
getting
need,
too
I
free,
need better equipment, bro. I have 2 free equipment slots. I don't think we're going back to hell, so I can probably take.
No,
out
Billy,
the
wait,
lava
I'm
charm.
coming to you.
The lava charm is.
Don't go
kinda
to hell,
weak,
bro. Stay up here. I got something for you.
I have free.
Your melee right here.
lava
Pawn hammer
free
for you.
something good. Let's see, eyebone.
Enjoy the pawn hammer, Billy.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
This
Should I use the sorcerer emblem? Like,
I'm sad. I'm sad.
good.
I'm genuinely sad.
Sad.
Yeah, I'm really sad, bro. I have to say goodbye to my Hellwing bow.
Yeah, because like right now it's basically just a wooden bow. It will just carry you
The
through
fuck is
some like,
that?
early game stuff.
Goodbye.
Derpling, 900 HP. He's in
Have that
forest.
feather back. Oh yeah. Wait, feather. Oh yeah, I still have it on me.
Yo, holy shit, Danas, bro. That's like new mobs in the
Clockwork assault rifle, is it valid?
What the fuck? He's OP. Oh hell no.
The world has
you're
been blessed with
basically-
Kobold.
Oh, we're basically brand new characters on a brand new world.
Bro,
Alright,
the mobs are
that
crazy,
explains
thank
it
you,
very well. So I can
Jeez.
basically empty my whole inventory.
Bro, very
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm gonna be the first to get wings.
There's
Nah,
I
me,
am
bro.
at my house.
I already have wings.
What wings, bro?
Sadly none. Only in my dreams.
I don't know what wings you're talking about, but I need the wings, bro.
Wait,
Puppy
yo,
wings?
second.
Yeah.
Does anyone? Isn't there like some trader selling wings?
Are you like fishing? I like fishing. About
If you do enough quests, yeah, in hard mode specifically, you can get wings from fishing quests. Might actually.
oh man,
go
I need
to.
some wings, bro. I need some wings. That is.
Then go kill some wyverns.
Wait. The top priority, we need to. At least I need to secure the jungle.
Top
'cause the
priority
Dryads
right
sell-
now would be to empty my fucking inventory because I'm full as fuck.
Oh, jeez.
I got the feather. I also have the feather, bro. I have the harpy feather. I don't know where it is though. Oh wait, don't
Okay,
tell me I lost it in my character. Wait, hold on.
Let's go here.
Please, don't tell me I lost my feather, bro.
Yo, you have a legendary pawn hammer, bro.
Alright, I think the joke's getting old, Max.
I'm just.
Yeah, he's been spamming that joke like since an hour, bro.
Zero, you're funny, bro.
No way, bro. Did I lose my feather?
Oh yeah, what a flash relic.
Yeah, Billy, can you help me find my
80
feather, bro?
damage.
Star Fury. Star Fury.
Fury of the
Demonic
stars.
Ice Boomerang. Ooh. Deadly Demon Sighty. Scythe, whatever you call it. It's kind of ass.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to put away the. Even
Where the fuck is my harpy wing,
I
bro?
don't think so. I think they just become like random champs.
Who are you?
Harpy feather. I need that shit.
Okay, not that strong.
What is cobalt? What is that?
The new ore, basically, yeah. We have like I said.
Yeah,
we're
somebody give us an
basically
overview.
characters with nothing, and we have to go mining for like ore, just like we started out by looking for gold. Now we have to like.
Wait, so
look-
we're
look for
basically
the-
brand new. Like we're ass. at
Yeah,
this
we're
point.
brand new characters on a brand new world. We have to like go find ore all
Oh,
over
God.
again. It's like the Terraria cycle just restarted.
God damn. Okay. I see. That's what it's all about.
What just spawned?
I have Cthulhu
Oh.
is awoken. By the way, I'm gonna be spreading the rainbow gay biome quite a bit around the jungle just to protect it. For
Really
the sake of
help.
its own safety, I'm gonna be spreading the
help.
game.
Really, by the way, your mic is off. I don't know if you know.
But yeah, there's corruption here and it's gonna be spreading. Gonna be eating everything. Oh, yeah.
Why is your mic off? He's deafened and his mic is off.
Oh, he's still weak. Wait, right?
Yeah, someone
Yeah,
died there.
this guy's super weak. Even though I'm like considering I am full damage, is actually still weak.
What the hell even is a herpling?
Happening is the
I mean, yeah, I
What?
know what it is, but just like, bro, what even is that though?
it just died to a zombie basically.
Welcome, that's possessed armor. It has like 50 armor. And 800 HP.
You're like doing 1 damage,
Bro, like,
bruh.
genuinely, what are these mobs, bro? Like,
Just like the beginning of the game, you need to
Like
stay in
the-
the
yeah.
forest biome and like mine for ore so you
Yeah.
can get some basic gold armor. Except like it has different names now. Now it's cobalt, mithril, and we got titanium ore and adamant.
like the average mob here can like probably destroy like the best.
Error, where are
Big
the
mob,
chests? Ah, here, down here. Oh,
I
you
have crazy
really
fast
redesigned
DPS,
everything.
bro.
cobalt,
Oh
like
shit!
titanium.
Why the fuck is he armored? Piece of shit.
Oh fuck! I should probably keep on starting this.
Even demonized armor OP now. What the
You know
hell?
what? Fuck it.
Bro, this is not fun, bro.
We for gaming chat.
To the start of Terraria.
We are restarting basically. Holy shit.
Yep, and now we have to get powerful all over again.
ZD, if you
Yep.
haven't yet, check this out, bro. There's like lots of stuff.
All right. Do you have like a spider biome?
Hello.
I've seen. Yo, what's up? I've seen Thanks. I don't know.
Alright, boys. I have 65 spelunker. It's time to mine.
Time
Wonder
to
where's
go
that?
mining.
Giant
Time to go
Okay.
mining, bro.
giant flying fox.
Yeah,
Like, what is these are freaks, bro.
quick question. Is
Yeah,
70% pickaxe power enough for the new ore? Yup.
I think you need 100.
Okay, how?
think you
Which
have
one?
a molten pickaxe.
Cobalt?
I mean,
molten, yeah.
Alright, so I basically start with
actually,
cobalt.
it's hard to get a molten.
Cobalt is
You
like...
start with cobalt and then you go up.
Oh, okay.
Is 70% enough for cobalt ore?
Okay, Vili, I know you're gonna carry me, right?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, then... yeah, which one?
What do you mean? I don't know.
Bro,
Really,
go
you have to
mine,
carry me,
get some
bro.
cobalt, and then we're gonna progress, bro. Don't worry, I'm gonna make like farms. I'm gonna get the Discord as well.
I've never played hard mode before. This is like all. new
What
for
the
me. I'm
fuck
not
is
gonna do-
happening, bro? What the
Billy.
fuck is happening, bro?
Billy,
Torch
you have
God.
done. You have played that. You have played Terraria for the first time with like a
Torch God,
character
bro.
with literally nothing on. That's quite literally just what you're doing right now, except you have everything you had like already.
Nah, I'm out, bro.
Just
I'm
treat it
out.
like a naked character. That's quite literally what you are. You're just a naked boy. That's what all of us are. We're all just naked on an empty
Yeah,
world.
this is alt
This
for...
is like so my.
This
my,
is shit.
Knight edge, my knight edge is basically like a copper sword.
Who
Yep.
needs a heart, by the way?
It's more like a
I
wooden
found a-
broadsword, you know. Usually when you start like a new world, you make like a wooden broadsword because
Oh,
it's slightly
nice.
better than the.
No. I gotta lock in. I know we gotta lock
Oh.
in. This is like we gotta.
We gotta lock in, bro.
got-
This is true and factual.
Gotta
I
max
wonder how
out
much
before,
more-
how
fucking,
slow
Set point set.
the molten pickaxes. The bone
really like
pickaxe is
fucking,
so nice.
Spawn point set.
Where's this ore? Is this cobalt?
Really,
I
by the
have
way,
found
we
some
need
cobalt,
to, we need to
gentlemen.
like completely bomb down the corruption,
Let's go together,
Yeah,
Era, by
so
the way.
like
Let's
it-
go together, bro.
so like it doesn't like infect us and shit.
Oh yeah, what I did, Billy, I went to the right side of your house. I spread something called hallowed. It's
Why did I
technically like
die?
another evil biome. It's like the good version of the evil biome, and it will eat
Oh,
like
okay.
everything around the jungle, so we will not have any corruption in the jungle.
Yo, Era, wait, bro.
Oh, okay. Say less.
So yeah,
The raid.
basically, the jungle biome should get covered in gay, like the outskirts. Like the hollow itself does not corrupt the jungle biome, whereas like the crimson does eat the jungle biome and like destroy it, and the hollow does not. So yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay.
why I always spread the hollow immediately whenever I enter hard
Say
mode around the
less.
jungle.
Don't go to the left. On the left, there's a torch god. I totally forgot that's also a boss.
Technically, it's like kind of boss, kind of event.
Yeah, like...
Yeah, if you don't want to get negative luck, and negative luck affects like your drops and everything like that.
Really, why do
or
we
like less
have-
luck.
Oh no.
Oh, what is this?
I think there's so much damage.
Oh, I have the
Mithril
pickaxe. Control.
cobalt. Wait, cobalt is like it's like copper, right?
It's pink and blue for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a texture pack, so it looks a bit different for me. It's like a pink bluish. Oh, but yeah, it's like picking up copper. Then mithril is like silver and lead, and then titanium is like crimtane or whatever the other one was, crimtane or demonite, yeah. And oh boy, here we have the underground corruption. Crimson, bro. So just evil biome, I guess. It's like one way to call it, evil biome.
Oh,
Oh my god.
Let me get one ore.
what's up?
Getting
Thank
molested
you.
like cave
Oh, it's
bats.
our base. This is our base. Pretty freaky in here. What are these random
Yep.
items? Really, I swear to God, had a
Which
hard time
biome
using
spawns
leather.
cobalt the most?
Cobalt, mithril, and titanium is everywhere. It's just like the regular ores, like anywhere in just
Ah.
underground. There's no like bias to any specific biome.
Wait, part of the magma plant is kind of fire. I should probably put that down.
I guess the only thing is don't go to special biomes because that's maybe where you have the less chance. Like ice biome probably has just like a lot more like other stuff. You just need to be in like a default biome.png and then you can get all the regular ore. Right, how do you
Crimtane.
mithril you get some mithril, I think. I can't remember if it's bars or ore, and then you combine them with a regular anvil, if I remember correctly.
Yo, really.
Yo.
Can mine mithril and ore.
Let's go explore, bro. We gotta find some ores.
Yeah, I'm mining. I'm getting a mithril right now.
Oh, hold on. Let me teleport to you. Let me teleport. What about
I'm underneath.
I have three equipment slots like fully open. I'm not really using anything. That's like quite a lot. Like just waiting to be filled in.
I bet.
So yeah, we gotta find the new easy items. Wait, hold on. Let me teleport to you.
Okay.
God, it gave me sluggish. That is a crazy debuff. Why did I not use a
Wait, does hard mode like overwrite the current world? So like new items spawn in?
new items? I mean, this is the same world. Though. It's just like kind of like a saying, like a metaphor that it's like a new world, but it is the exact same world. But like there is new stuff, like new biomes,
Oh,
new
yeah.
enemies.
Billy, I get this.
Wait a second.
Here, we need to go mining, bro.
Chat. I'm gonna keep this.
Alright, let's do it. Let's do it.
Feel like
To actually
I
find
have
any of the
another
new
one.
stuff, you actually have to bless
Mm,
more
you
Should I
did.
grab the dynamite from home?
Shit,
Or-
by the way, if you're like offline, you're allowed to log in and kill the wall. But I'm like Maxi just like told him to get off and never told him to.
Oh yeah.
That is crazy.
Come back, Zeta, bro.
This is so my bees are so weak. This is so depressing.
I mean, yeah, Zeta.
My beacon was so OP and now it's nothing. That's so sad.
Holy shit, they're so OP, bro. These mobs.
Is
Yeah,
that
bro.
cobalt?
They literally can two-shot you, bro.
Yeah, this is not good.
Let's see. What is this ore?
What the fuck is this?
Ah.
600 HP. Holy shit, brother.
Oh yeah, jungle. I highly advise avoid the underground jungle for the early part of hard mode, because
I mean, we are
We're actually
literally right there.
we are in jungle, bro. We're
Yeah, we
literally
are.
in jungle right
Yo,
now.
yo, yo,
Let
yo.
me kill
Okay,
that.
quick. If anyone
Kill that
wants, I found the underground NPC.
Really careful.
this is the
Fucking
one
Yes,
NPC
okay.
which we definitely should be looking out for is called the Wizard.
he says like
What a
Oh, yeah, the
aglet.
wizard.
See, like freaky. Freaky ass. What's this?
Let's get freaky.
Tungsten bar. We don't need that shit.
Yeah,
It
bro,
doesn't
ain't
sound
nobody. Oh my.
Never use.
Ain't nobody trying to farm tungsten right now.
It is dead, bro. Willie, should I grab some dynamite from home?
Actually, that might be a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah, let me grab some. We have a shit ton, by the way. We have like 100 dynamite, like ready to be used. Wait, let me just quick stack away.
Alright, can I have some cobalt or is the whole cobalt already mined by the tryhards?
I have 6 mithril ore. Okay.
Spawn more cobalt, please, Donners.
Mithril.
Just spawn it in /spawn cobalt.
Slash
About
spawn.
you can actually do that. You just have to break the crimson altars with the pawn hammer.
Willie, I'm grabbing the.
Like that's how you create the ore in the first place. Is you have to destroy the altars in the crimson with the hammer.
Oh wait, they were in my inventory. What am I doing?
Fuck it. I'm gonna be freaky like you guys, Willie and Billy. I'm gonna join you in the underground jungle.
Yeah, we need to like.
I might actually.
You gotta risk to earn, bro. You gotta risk to earn.
Jungle is usually high risk, high reward.
There's a lot of unknown beings, bro.
Yeah, where the fuck is our dynamite, bro?
Just go buy some, bro.
Yeah,
You have a
I'm
lot of
pretty
money.
rich. I think I have like two
Okay.
platinum coins. Like I never buy shit. I never. I just have so much.
I bought like a lot of stuff.
Truffle has arrived. Choose that.
Wait, we have a surface mushroom biome on it, I don't know.
Ah, now I remember him. Yeah.
Oh, he's like the ranger NPC. Later on, he's like the only way to get Shroomite, which is like ranger exclusive armor set.
Oh, there's a dynamite. Okay, fine.
Remember doing the.
Really, I
Yeah,
am
I
coming
might be
back.
regretting being in the jungle. I'm not gonna lie, bro. This shit
What is
so
this? Okay.
Shit is
Fucking hornets.
indeed.
Huh?
Tilty. None of
Yeah,
that.
sure.
Billy, we need to get you a cobalt armor for now.
I'm stuck.
Help me, step bro. I'm stuck.
Really, yeah. I'm gonna toss a lot of the dynamite just to like.
What is this? Herpling, I never saw that before. That must be a
Bullshit.
new
Bro.
mob.
Playing is old.
On the wizard.
Yeah, we need to
Wizard.
spawn more, bro. Wait, let me get home.
We need what?
We need to spawn more.
Cloud
Ores.
slimes.
Oh, okay.
That is like an actual. That's not hard mode new, but like that's been in. That's like new with one like the 1.4.5 big update. Yeah, I might actually have to just use boss battle potions to survive out here, bro. On God.
Yup. This shit is not easy.
Yeah, I'm doing it. Iron skin regen, endurance, bro. Pop
Wait, I
everything.
don't need this shit.
I'm going full boss battle combat mode against just yeah, regular bots. Regular It's not even
Mobs.
enough. It's not even enough.
Yo,
Oh my God.
Yeah, bro. Jungle's I'm
Water.
not going to the jungle. No, not yet.
Bro.
Why are they so OP? Holy shit.
I'm
Almost
going
died.
back to just the forest.
Yeah, keep on spawning shit in.
Okay.
Keep on spawning shit in. Whatever you're doing there. Keep on spawning it in.
Hell yeah, I
Oh,
died,
that's
bro.
something. I don't need that shit. I don't need a fucking
Damn,
tungsten.
Spectre.
I'm about to die, bro.
Wauw, Chin Grijs gedaan aan joh.
I'm on titanium now. Yeah, then meet me at spawn, bro. For like mithril pickaxe and like I take it. Got some cobalt
Okay, what is
ore.
that? Turtle? Is that a turtle? Oh, I'm low.
Oh my god,
Yo,
Billy.
We're chilling, bro. I got
10
the
range
magic
critical
missile.
strike. Range critical star. Ah, okay, I see.
Bro,
I
he got
see.
diddle, bro. It's
I see
We're
what
bumming,
they're
we're
doing
bumming.
there. That's kind of shit, in my opinion. Let's
So,
hope
by
you.
the way, cobalt, Maxi, that's like copper ore.
Yeah.
Do you make copper ore at the beginning of Terraria?
Nah.
Exactly. Escape that shit.
Damn, why is so OP? Really? Oh my god, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Really?
Bro, I'm telling
He
you,
one-shotted
don't
me.
fight anyone, bro. Don't fight anyone.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right, bro. I got a mithril bar. I want to see like what I can craft. I need better armor, dog. Like
Think everyone as a boss, bro. Don't even
I have,
try.
I have 37 defense. I should probably have more defense.
Nah, bro, that's not enough. What do you mean 27? I have 39 and I'm getting two-shotted.
No, I mean
I
30.
have 42
37. I
right
have
now,
37.
and I'm getting molested by everything.
I have
I
37.
know, bro.
Yeah, we are back to being naked, quiet.
I don't even have that
lit
much
around
reward
it.
in me, so. Wait. I got a.
Oh! Mithril pickaxe with the mining buffs. Oh, the speed. Oh, the speed.
Derpling. Died to a derpling, really?
Yeah,
Yo, I
the
need
Goofy
Derplings
looking
will
animal
fuck you
ever.
up.
real quick.
That's the goofiest looking animal ever. Like,
Is it even an animal
Billy,
at this
Billy, I
point,
got.
bro? Fucking abomination
Go,
is
go
what they
to
are.
go to the crimson biome and then break some like those things. We need more ores,
Thanks,
bro.
bro. just waited. I take the better one though. So with this I can go for titanium, right? Not yet. Okay. Let's go. Which one should I get now? Is it Alright, easy. Yeah, okay.
Or just Maxi out here getting glazed up.
Is there titanium?
Luxury living while everyone else is just slaving away.
Is there titanium armor?
Yes, there is. That's probably
Okay.
like what everyone's priority should be.
Yeah.
That's basically like gold armor or crimson armor. Like, there are like alternatives, like if you're going for class specific. Yeah, spider, that's summoner, I'm pretty sure.
Uh, yeah, that. Just realized that was a fishing spot. Alright. It was a fishing spot. So. Mithril ore, let's go.
Let's fucking go. Oh dear, the water has turned pink. I'm in a gay biome. Oh, actually, I should be farming the gay biome. I can get materials for the mage. This is a magic stuff. Try to see a soul of light vanish, but where the hell did that thing go? Oh, it's probably like some server thing, like item compressions happening. That's something I've noticed.
What
Jeez.
oppressions, bro?
Like when multiple items drop, like they get compressed. Like instead of like being like one of multiple, like they get compressed into one item with like a big number. I've noticed that. Like I see like fallen stars disappear, and then I pick up another one, and it's like 11 stars inside one. It's probably some like server optimization thing that's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've seen that happen before. I have like in 1 star there was like 25.
Yep, yeah, because of some server optimization thing. Sometimes if you see like an item disappear right in front of you, it's probably because like an identical one dropped slightly further.
Keep-
nearby.
Keep it up, Iroh, keep it up. Yeah, I just checked that out. It's basically the same. So let's just skip everything. Go straight to titanium.
I am titanium.
Wait, what about health? You can get more health right now. Dub, explain us the noobs how to get more health right now. Because 400 is not
sure.
max.
I'm not sure if it is right now or after we kill the Mac boss, because I've been playing so much modded. But if it is right now,
It's Plantera, bro. I think it's post Plantera.
no, it's definitely before Plantera. I can't remember if it's pre-Mac
it
or
is?
just
All free
after
mechanical.
mechanical. Ah, damn it.
Okay. I thought it was Plantera.
After
Ah, it's
one?
literally After one. Okay, yeah, it's after one, because like, yeah, okay. Yeah, it's basically like looking for life crystals all over again, because like, yeah, our characters got deleted. We're playing on empty characters right now, and we have to find heart crystals again. Now they're just called life fruits, and they only spawn in the jungle, and they regrow. So like once you find them, it's not like there's a limited amount they can be farmed and stuff. And we can also throw one in the shimmer for some like buffs. There's nothing for that. What does life fruit do? It's a life. It's basically a life crystal. Yeah, it's basically, yeah, it's just a life crystal, more HP. I cannot survive here. No, bro, he pissed on me, bro. These enemies are pissing on me, bro. That's golden shower. That's literally like a metaphor for like old people pissing on you, bro. I love Terraria. Did you guys know? I love Terraria.
And I hate to say goodbye to the beanies. It is what it is. It is what it is. I wanna get a slime gel again. Let's get it. Let's get it. Slime gel. Boom. Hello, Willy.
Hello.
You ever let me know when you got a titanium pickaxe for me?
I have
There's a
mithril.
note for tennis bar. That's from imps. Now is a horrible time to grind for that if that's what you want.
Yeah, just let me know.
Staying in hell, farming mobs in hell in hard mode, like, bro. This is what we had, like. This is why we had like a pre-hard mode, like extended, so you could like spend some time being powerful, getting everything you need with like no resistance. Now resistance is up to a max. Yep, there's part of the yep. You mean you could accidentally just get it by killing an imp, but like yeah, getting them right now, at least that specific item, that'll be a bit painful. Possible, like I'm not saying you shouldn't try if you're confident in yourself, you totally can. Give it a shot, cause gotta have them Gucci shoes, you know.
Mithril, where are you? You what the fuck? Just did 200 damage.
For the green slime.
What?
A green slime, yeah.
Oh my god.
Cave bats do 70 damage to me. Lovely. And they give me rabies as well. Lovely. Ah, splendid. Exquisite even.
Yeah, error, please. I'm like stuck, hard stuck. Ah, nice. Perfect, bro. No, I got the rest, bro. I got the rest. Thanks, bro. If anyone is interested in a hive pack, I dropped it in spawn chest. Also, beanie bow.
I
Also,
don't think anyone's using
spawn-
pre-armor items now.
spawn chest and some moonglow seeds. Everything.
I think the only pre-armored item that really holds up throughout the entire game is Terraspar boots, unironically. Items like that.
I don't even have that.
It's so nice.
Cobalt shield. What?
For me, it would be Shield of Cthulhu. And Cobalt Shield is nice because, like, yeah, it gets upgraded, but like it doesn't stay as it is. Whereas Terraspar boots, you get the final upgrade.
You
just
error,
immediately.
come with me, bro.
Ancient is goaded. Indeed, it is.
Come to Enchanter. So, help me find some titanium. Like, how does it look like?
And it looks like soap bubbles if I had to give a description.
Is that
It's kind of
titanium?
like
No.
what do you call it? It's kind of like mithril and then cobalt combined. It has like a bluish and then like gray thing on them.
Just give me one order, yeah.
But it has a lot of pixels. That's all I can say.
It looks like bubbles to me, honestly.
Yeah, I guess you
Shut.
could say that too.
Alright, error.
Oh god, there's a gay biome. Oh, I'm gonna get one of
I'm
those.
gonna look for some.
I'm gonna go home, bro.
I'm gonna go home. I wanna go home.
I'm going home, bro. Getting molested by everything.
I will get some, what is this, cobalt? For the other people. I mean, yeah.
Want a faster pickaxe? I have a godly.
Like, why not,
mithril
right,
pickaxe
chat?
now.
Like, if we see the ore, like, just get it.
Oh, are drills?
Put it in spawn
fakes?
chest, like ice,
Like the drills
Seede,
actually
Liars, they all
drill?
need it.
It's faster. Because like before like this update, like drills were basically like useless because like you couldn't affect them with mining buffs. Like, do they actually get buffed now by like everything?
Bro, drill fee is nice, error.
Yeah, come to me, or I want to see the difference. If you have a mithril tier. I'm like left of. Oh yeah, you're coming to me.
You guys have the like the furnace?
My God.
No. Oh, that yes you do.
Enemies.
Don't mind if I do.
Bro, these bats with their fucking weird ass effects making me run in circles. No, do not bite me again. I swear. The sound it makes, lol, I can hear it coming. Okay.
Titanium
let's
drill,
see the
bro.
difference. Come on, let's find like a. Wait, come here. There's like a spot here that. If you just go.
Yo, Maxi, do you want mithril drill? I
I don't know,
already got
if you come here,
Yeah,
to me,
I already got one,
you
bro.
just, like dig left. Like,
gotcha.
go into like that spot and dig left. Just dig left.
The hell did I
and
put
just go.
my safe? Oh, the wizard's here.
It seems to be identical. Or the question: are you just using a raw drill, or like do you have buffs on? Raw. Can it be buffed? Because I'm running full buffs, and that's making it identical. Maybe. Okay, let's see. Okay. Let's see. I have full buffs. Let's see what is faster. Where's the drill? Drill and pickaxe.
Drill's faster for me. I'm
Can you
using
feed the
drill.
power?
Look, drill is much better, bro. It's shorter, but
They are
you don't really
identical, I
need
feel like.
the
Nah, there's like very, very little. Oh my god, I died. I was too focused on like mining speed. I couldn't see that I was getting killed. There's like no difference between the drill and the pickaxe. At least I don't know if the buffs affect the pickaxe. Come get your
Oh, there's
drill back.
difference,
Unless
though.
you already have a better one, because like I'm probably gonna be just using the pickaxe.
Okay, what's next after titanium, bro? I'm at like titanium right now.
Titanium is the max we're getting right now. After titanium, we're gonna have to do boss fights.
God dang it. Okay.
Boom.
So I'm getting titanium armor then.
Yep.
Actually, let me right. Adamantite. How do you get that?
Well, adamantite or titanium, they're the same. Just
Oh,
like there's
okay.
platinum and gold and stuff like that. It's just like a different version of the same thingy.
Yeah, well.
Very gold.
Fucking Billy
Oh,
guy.
Shimmer.
Error, you saw the picture, right? My G.
Titan. Nail, ranged, magic.
Wow. Ba 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 da 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 da. So
Okay, I should be able
kiss
to
me.
Survive right now. He only has 4 defense. The helmet. That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, because I'm a mage. What do I expect? This is so sad, but I'm gonna have to put away the hive pack. No more bee gun for me. Ah, so sad. So sad. So sad.
Nah, bro, it's viable.
Bro, the bees are doing 1 damage with like maximum damaging accessories on it, bro. They are not viable.
One damage, that's so funny.
Let's see. Alright, let me teleport to you, Billy. What are you doing in hell, bro?
I'm so dead.
Because you can see like a lot of ores.
Ooh,
I don't think you can mine this.
hell
Billy.
yeah, titanium.
I don't think you can mine.
I just want to
Oh,
know
yeah,
what
I
that
can.
slime drops. Let's check it out.
Okay,
I
I'm
can't mine that
Wait,
shit.
here, Billy, here, take this,
Okay.
this. Now you can mine it.
Wait, do you have a... you had the spare one.
That's the mithril. I have the titanium.
Wait, where is it? Oh, it's a fish. Oh no, it looks like a fish.
It's a fish.
Oh, it's a fish, bro. That's a fish.
It does kind of look like a fish. Not if you like look closely.
Oh yeah, bro. I forgot how OP like Terraria drills are. Holy shit.
Yes, sir.
Alright, let's do it. Let's do it. Find some. Help.
I'll just run if I were you, bro. You need armor quick, because you're like a melee class. You're gonna get diddled, bro. You're not gonna be able
Yeah.
to fight.
No, wait. How much I lag? I should probably do like a ranger build, bro. Can't you lie?
Yeah, you have the spelunker, dude. Go eat a spelunker. I mean, drink it.
Found some cobalt.
Now you don't need cobalt.
Oh, really? Okay, let's make a
Yeah.
Useless. Wait, let me use the spelunker shit.
Yep, you're gonna be able to see much
Yeah.
easier.
Are you sure we're gonna skip cobalt?
That's what
Yeah,
I
because
did,
you
by
already
the
have.
way.
You
Yo,
already
why am I
have
getting
mithril, bro.
confusion effect on fucking Terraria, bro? Motherfuckers are running like all their
dude.
effects, bro.
I got bit
Poison,
by a bat. They're fucking
confused gas,
rabies.
bro.
Yep. That's what the cave bats
Confusion
do to you.
gas, bro. Like, shit. Oh hell yeah, Willy.
I don't know, but I'm just gonna get a lot of like mithril. Might need it for future
Let me just use the
items.
shark. The shark is so OP, like holy shit.
It
It's like
is
really
so
important.
OP, dude.
Yeah, having the shark is
Yeah.
like really.
It's so
I'm just gonna.
useful.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do like.
I'm gonna die. I'm gonna teleport to you.
Was this not breaking?
Oh,
Oh my.
I got
Oh my good heavens.
well, bad, bro. Oh,
Giant
oh
bats.
my god, bro. Billy, we're gonna get fucked up by the bat again.
No, I kill him.
Okay, nice.
Okay,
Dude,
so
I
these
have a
bubbles
lot.
kind of things are titanium, I suppose. Bubble texture. Oh yeah, titanium. Yeah, that's good.
Okay, mithril.
Actually, not that hard to progress in here. Can't lie.
I don't think it's
Finding a
hard
shit ton
to
of
progress.
like. Finding a shit ton of like. Let me turn smart mining on. Yeah, that's much better. Holy shit.
Magic. Check. This is exactly what I was telling you on day one. Magic is like main shit. What about this?
Yeah, Yeah, mage class
Okay.
really pops off in hard mode. Pre-hard mode, they have like nothing.
Yep.
Spirit Flame, that 107 damage. Crazy shit.
To get all the good stuff.
Okay, Willy, I'm going back home.
This is nice
I see,
though.
like-
This is very nice. Extremely slow speed? What? That's shit.
Oh, yo, we have a mage in our house. Who is this? What does he sell?
I got the wizard.
No, it's like he's called Dulias. I don't know.
There's an
does
NPC guy, like a wizard.
Alright,
Purple,
20
purple.
Soul of Knights. And 15 Soul of Knights, 20 Soul of Light, 10 feathers. Alright, it's time to go to the clouds.
Some
How do you even get there?
and some
Mana potion.
wings.
Yo, if anyone
What
wants
the
great
f-
mana potion, just come to my house. Ice rod.
Yo. What's up, bro? You can farm my boat.
Wait, I realize how dumb I am. Oh my god.
Why? What happened?
Like when I sell items,
Ah,
I go to
alright.
someone's house to their NPCs. But we also have NPCs in our house.
You want to sell them at the happiest NPC, bro.
Oh really?
Yeah, I think that the Dryad should be pretty happy because she's in the biome she likes and the NPC like.
Yeah.
At least they're weak, bro.
should be Very high happiness.
No, we have
Do the
Stefano's.
goblet tinker,
Stefano
bro.
is pretty
The goblet tinker.
I have a lot of titanium ore. I have. Okay, not a lot, but let's like.
Mm-mm-mm. So.
Should I use Hellstone or? I mean Hellforge. No, I can make here too. Willy, how do I process the titanium ore?
Go to spawn. There should be a furnace there.
Wait, can you not use a normal furnace?
Nope. You gotta build all your stuff all over again. New crafting tables, new everything.
Yep.
Just like
Ooh.
start it out. 'Cause,
Okay,
like, yeah,
okay. Yeah, fair
back to
enough.
the basics.
Yeah, I thought you were like trolling when you said like.
No, it's
Back-
straight up like very literal.
Really,
like,
this is real. Just like everything is new, bro. Like all the items we have in our inventory, I mean in our chest, are like kind of useless. All the weapons, like
Yep. It's all basically
mean-
just the copper short sword.
junk. It's all junk. We can just sell that shit then.
What the
That's
fuck is
useful.
that? You guys, wake up!
Yo,
Some random ass dragon in here.
What the fuck?
Yeah, like
Where is
some
he?
ant boss mob.
What the fuck? Who is he? Wait, how much
that's a
HP does he
wyvern.
have? Oh, it's a wyvern. Okay.
You need that for the wing. I'm actually gonna
Okay.
get one.
How many does he drop?
Yeah,
Does
yo!
he drop one?
I found him,
Give me a
Error.
solo
Give me that
flight.
shit. Thank you. He drops
sure.
18!
Sebastian, get your ass in. Never mind, you're kind of useless. Where's the useful guy? Did he die?
Error, watch my screen for a second.
To you sell. Shop.
Mwah.
Billy,
Oh,
I'm
it's
gonna get
there,
I'm gonna get
yes.
your stuff too. I have titanium armor now. Let's go. That's a
Already?
W. Yeah. Bro,
Jeez.
I'm telling you, Spelunker potion, bro.
Yeah, Spelunker
I like-
potion is so OP. Can you
I've
craft this
a
shit?
lot, bro.
Quick.
We're probably gonna need that shit.
Error, I should also make the... Oh, this gun is crazy. Whoa, I need this
Ooh,
first.
my comrade.
Watch my stream,
Yeah,
Error.
let's see. I wanna make.
Should I make armor first or this?
Crystal shards.
You
Why
both
can't I
right.
make the,
I already have a
Okay,
pistol
armor, yeah.
laser. Wait, you picked up my thingy. Wait, armor? We can make armor. out of
Oh,
crystals.
titanium forge. There we go. I have 7 bars. Really? Really, bro?
I'm gonna be farming in the hollow for some.
Mithril anvil. Really, we need to replace all our like crafting stations.
I mean, yeah.
You can just replace any anvil with a mithril anvil and then like a hellforge with a titanium adamantite or
Uh-huh.
The
titanium.
jungle shit is kind of. No, my defense is so ass.
Oh, there's not enough, bro.
Oh.
Oh my god.
You get like new items from fishing, right?
Crazy shit.
Yes.
It's like it's hard
Mithril
mode now.
sword 58. Damn.
Yeah, I figured.
Thanks, Error, bro.
I can make cobalt shit. No, it's kind of useless, bro.
Yeah, fishing is gonna be super important, especially in one of the brand new biomes. In the gay biome, you can get a potion that increases your max health temporarily, which is super clutch.
The gay biome.
Yeah, the gay biome.
The hell? We make some cobalt shit. Just for now.
I think go check the chest. I think we have a lot of mithril, bro. You can use them.
Oh, we do? Okay, let me.
Great
check.
spawn, chat. Great spawn.
Yeah,
I have
skip
some
cobalt, bro. You
Hey!
only need the
Hey!
thing for cobalt. The pickaxe.
Oh, okay.
Hoarding, yeah. Yeah, man.
Come here.
Increase melee speed. Ooh,
Hey! Bro.
Hey, it's okay.
Cobalt is looking good for the melee, like if you're like doing melee.
No, bro. Titanium, bro. I'm telling you.
Wait, let me see. We do need mithril.
Alright, come here, Billy. Come down. We're gonna get some titanium for you.
Damn, this guy's OP.
We're gonna get you.
There's 2 of them.
Wait, hold on, give me something.
Armor or crystal shards, is that what you were saying?
Oh no, never mind. We do have the mithril anvil. Let me
we
actually
do have
place-
the anvil, but we don't have the.
Wait, let me place
like,
the anvil
furnace.
a little closer to our inventory. I mean the chests. I need it like right here.
Tuck.
All right,
Here, what?
Willy boy, I'm coming.
Need
Schau mich
We
an.
do potion.
16 and 2, 16.
Yeah, you said this is like bubble kind of shit.
This is
Yeah.
mithril, bro.
Yes, sir.
It has like a lot of pixels on them. You're gonna see
Yeah,
it.
it's like
noticeable.
it's like bubbly shit.
Uh-huh.
I'm probably gonna need all of this. Let's just spam this. Yo, what's up, bro?
Moxie.
Another giant crystal as well.
Creeper. What the hell? What's so-
Yo, we might do green slime in a bit. Bye bye, meine Liebe des Lebens.
Or it's just do not.
Where's Seede? Did he say bye?
He did.
Oh,
He's gotta go or something.
oh shit, I didn't hear that. GG's. GG's! Chaos Elemental.
Chaos. Elemental. Average. Wait.
What is this?
Speed.
You Error, are you mining? Can you get some titanium if you see it? I'm gonna focus
Yo, I
on
can't
getting
find this
feathers.
shit, what the hell? It's like green shit. I can't.
Yeah,
find it.
like if you see titanium, like on the way or some shit. How do I get to your base?
Go left from spawn, there's a teleporter. There's that thing that you were super confused about. Go left.
Confused about.
Ah, cool stuff,
Let's
bro.
Billy, what is this green stuff we can't mine?
It's scroll something.
Okay, Arrow, you got some serious addiction, brother.
okay, 'cause
What
I
the
see a lot
fuck,
of
bro?
it.
That's
Can't really do
really,
nothing.
really good for bullets, bro. That's really good for bullets. I actually
okay,
want
okay.
that. Or like track, enemies.
Oh, okay, okay.
I died.
Good shit, bro. Dude, this
Yo,
base
come
is
to where I
this
died,
is
bro.
probably my
There's, like, a
favorite
lot of,
base
like,
of the world. This is
I already know
crazy.
where you're going.
Keep it up, bro.
Oh, it's glorified. I see now. I see.
Bro, smart mining is so good, bro.
It is.
You know, like
It's
tap.
literally-
Oh no, I'm really low. Holy shit.
Also serves the harpy purpose. Very cool stuff.
Oh,
All right, a B.
don't worry, bro. It's gonna
Luckily, we have
happen
a lot
like
of wormhole
a
potions,
lot.
but we gotta eventually get more wormhole potions.
How many do you have?
I have I have 4.
No, 4. Bro, I'm gonna give you 40, bro. Come here.
What the fuck? How do
I
you have
have
that
like
much?
97. You can
Jeez.
craft them. You can craft them,
Yeah,
bro.
I
I
mean,
like
I
grinded it.
mean, we
I
don't have that
was
many
just thinking about
specular
it.
fish.
Yeah, the fish. Alright, come here, come here,
Yeah,
come here, come
we
here.
don't have that many specular fish.
No, I grinded, remember?
Ooh,
Like
thank
I
you, thank you.
grinded
Yeah, right.
the fishing thing.
Let me get my feathers, you fucker!
Oh yeah.
Look how fast, bro.
It
So
is super fast.
satisfying.
Poison stuff?
It's absurdly fast.
I will
Uh-huh.
not be saying no to that offer.
Let's go down.
Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no.
Yo, kill that, kill that, kill
Oh
that,
no,
kill
oh
that,
no.
kill that. You're gonna get like a lot of good stuff. Wait. We need to go in an open area, bro. Oh, okay, I died.
Uh,
Oh, we found
what's
a
the mimic?
mimic
Is
and
he
then
good?
we died.
The
Yeah,
mimic.
if you kill him, he's gonna drop like a lot of good stuff.
Ooh, okay, okay. Where did we die? I see. Drop straight down.
I'm probably gonna despawn, dude. Wait, let me. Wait. I have a lot of titanium now. We gotta spawn.
Oh, I placed my titanium in the chest, so you can make use of it. I'll go back to
Okay,
the.
okay.
I'll go back to where we died. He's probably gonna despawn though, so
But
like typical.
that 21.
Is there not a potion
there
that
you go.
they can use to return to your old death location?
No, I don't
Like
think
surely
so.
there's gotta be this-
Potion to do what?
Oh, there isn't.
to like return to your death location.
Nah,
there isn't.
Surely
sadly
there
not,
has
no.
to be.
There's
Okay.
one thing that you could do, like if you see yourself like you're about to die, you can use something called the potion of return. So you can like
I
Oh, yeah,
genuinely hate vibrance.
Wyvern.
yeah, potions of
What about
return.
mimic,
Fucking
bro?
Gral Era gang.
They're kind of like, you know, recall potions, but like you
Alright,
can.
Billy, come
Fun
here.
fact, Wyvern is, I think Wyvern
got
is owned by a German. In Gral Era.
Fair enough.
I got you your armor.
Ooh, thank you, thank you. Damn.
Bro!
20.
Error on the
23
bodyguard.
percent.
Error. Quick.
Bro, this is crazy.
Quick.
You can tank now, bro. We
Hey,
can
what?
finally tank a few of them.
Error!
I have 70 defense, bro. 70 defense.
Ah!
God. No, I have 54. So you're like a bit stronger. than me.
Why do I have that much defense?
I hate how they program this dragon,
don't
bro. He
know.
like constantly aims on you. You can't even trick him.
Brother, we need
Okay.
I need 2 flight swords,
have-
by the way. Only 2.
we need life. I mean,
You can have the rest. Yeah, it's fucked up, bro. Just get an owl of
we
Angel.
have-
No, I need to
we have armor. We need weapons.
Yeah, we need weapons. I mean, it's a nice. It's a nice.
You can you help me out on some feather grinding real quick?
Maybe not.
I don't know how many I need.
We
Like
need to get to
15.
icicle, bro. But it's like a drop from ice,
okay.
ice things.
Nah, I don't need much.
We have
Too much for,
a
Fish. What is this?
hallowed desert.
I like how you transform into a rat. Wait, where are you? Ah, nah. That's lit.
I kind of want.
Whoa, bro. Thank you.
Summoner, bro.
Yeah.
That's fucking lit, bro.
Firecracker.
Very unique.
Okay, we shouldn't be too far from the location.
Come with me
Why is this
to
like random thing moving around me?
meet me at spawn.
Yo, Billy, you
Billy.
wanna kill the wall of flesh again?
1 second now.
What's like Saturn rings falling around me like?
That's your shirt bonus.
Do we have Soul of
yeah, that's
Night or Soul of Light?
Oh, attacking generates a defensive barrier of titanium shards. Okay, okay. Just like what's this like
Yes.
fucking? Okay. Oh no. This is not
Billy,
good.
I don't think we need to go mining it. I think we need to
Anymore?
get like stuff now. Because
You have
the
light?
we have armor now.
Bro, getting armor was so easy. What the hell?
Let me
Shit was-
check if that's
it was
enough.
Not hard.
Where's the
Dude,
wings?
It's
not
easy.
hard.
'cause
Yo, I'm
you
done.
I'm a bit
bro, I
Should I make
I
the
think your
angel
armor-
wings?
Yo, I did like 30%,
This is
bro.
easy.
Alright. Okay.
You did 10%. You did like 10%. I'll give you that.
Guess who has fucking wings? Oh no, it takes accessory slot.
Come on,
I need the
bro.
mod. I need the mod.
Thank you, good shot. Actually, I've never
Billy,
ever used this.
I have some
Wait,
stickers.
I don't think it. I need a core, bro. I
The
need a
weapon I
core.
never go to. Early hard mode, yeah. I usually always get the upgraded magic missile.
Early hard mode. Oh, okay. I don't know what that means, but why do I have two pawn hammers? I don't need that shit.
You have to.
It's probably your porn hammer, bro.
Bro,
Okay.
fuck you, Pornhammer, Billy. Come on.
Maxi, really?
Okay.
I'm not really that into
P-O-N
porn.
hammer or pawn? Maxi, you dirty, dirty boy.
13.
Oh wait, let me know how to keep the dynamite, bro. Like, I don't want to make the mistake again.
Yo, everybody read Terraria chapter, right?
Yo,
Error,
Yeah.
which equipment should I drop for this, for the wings?
Wait, why can I not use the?
How's the Terraria gameplay
we're
going?
buff, Billy, we're
Very, very nice, Vanessa. Very, very nice. It's very fun.
We can have more summons in this house.
Why do I have the balloon? That is so noobish. Oh, shit. Thanks, bro. What should I combine it with?
oh, the spider armor. I need the spider armor.
We just got into hard mode, Vanessa.
Get our hands on, bro.
Oh, you are Vanessa, right? We just got into hard
How do you
mode.
Wait, I don't see
Spider
a
man.
reason for me to have the lava charm.
Wait, does this mean number 4 damage?
That shit. That's just useless.
Yes!
I need some warding gear, bro. Some warding shit.
Alright, then. I'm done. I'm ready for, what's the guy called? Moonlord?
Moonlord.
Here you are,
Oh, you are not.
buddy. Here you are.
Sure, okay, let's go. Like,
that
what do we need, bro?
That random dude called Moonlord.
I'm
yeah.
done. I got movement, potion speed. Let's go. Now, all
Okay,
jokes
time to
aside,
get
I
annihilated
saw
then.
there's some torch god thingy magic.
see.
What does it do for you?
Well, how about the sound on this shit?
It makes you place the correct torches depending on what biome you are, because like that affects luck. Like if you put
Oh.
the wrong torch in the wrong biome, you lose luck, and you gain luck if you do it correctly, and that affects like what enemies drop and stuff, how much damage you do as well.
Oh,
Mm.
shit, okay.
Luck is lucky like kind of.
Guys, we're gonna make a chat check. Everybody type in 1 in chat. Number 1. If you don't type in number 1, next time you're gonna be cold tonight when you sleep. And that sucks, bro. Type in number 1. In Twitch chat, not in fucking Terraria chat.
What's that chat?
Why not? Oh yeah, start desktop capture. That's probably better.
Little activity check if there's anyone alive out there.
Test.
No, but all jokes aside, we can do Queen Slime if you're down, Donas. How do we feel about Queen Slime to all the pros out there right now? I mean, I got titanium. I'm very close to full titanium.
I would say definitely not, bro. Where is it? Bro, actually, Queen Slime is like a side boss. I have no idea where she's actually placed in the like normal hard mode progression.
I need a new
She's
summoner.
just an
or
oddball.
something.
Usually, the first thing I ever do, like first boss I fight, well, I guess technically it's an event, Pirates, but like usually the first thing I prioritize is killing the twins.
Oh, the twins.
Oh yeah, there's fucking pirates that can raid.
I
here.
can't place that. Place it, please, Error.
I think
I gave you the
how
water
I do
flash.
it is probably
It's in the middle of
afterwards.
mechanical Danas. Okay.
Let's place it somewhere at spawn here.
Danas.
Yeah, give it the honor.
Middle of...
Thank you, bro.
Willy, where are you at?
I'm getting a spider armor.
Did you
Like
say
summoner
something?
shit? Like summoner shit?
I need a new summoner. It's in the
there
middle
is.
of a mechanical. Okay.
Let me help you.
I bet.
Yeah, that's crazy, Arrow. We didn't even complete it last time, right? We tried though. We tried.
Poison style.
But he was so difficult. Moonot is like next level shit. Oh my god.
Yeah, he's not fun, bro. For what I've seen.
Also the pillars, they were also very stressful to be honest. I don't remember them. Oh, wait, the UFO shit?
Why
Nah, bro. Nah,
That's
that.
a weird way to say it.
Nah, I just remember the UFO like.
Ufu. German.
UFO, yeah.
Yo, what is this?
What
I'm
the
too
fuck?
German, bro. I'm too German. UFO.
Motherfucking-
Ufu.
That's crazy.
Ufu. Really, do we need mithril ore, by the way?
No.
Yeah, good that you say that. I also have the inventory.
Okay.
Let me drop this off.
I'll take it either way, maybe to sell it.
Mithril ore, bomb.
I got a fried egg.
Hey! Yo!
Fried egg?
I got a fried egg.
Fried.
Get the Wyvern out of here, bro. I'm trying to
Really, is
sort.
grinding the desert, like, is it good for...
I think it despawned.
hard mode? I mean, hard mode?
It flew up. So I guess it's gone.
Oh, body roller skates.
Really,
Yo.
shortly.
Arrow, I need a personal
Got the
bodyguard
roller
really quick.
skate. Wait, what are you saying, Billy?
Should I grind the desert items? Or
Wait, I'm gonna kill it.
Wait,
Never
we
mind.
need weapons, bro.
Yeah, I need
we
better
already-
weapons. But I don't know,
it's
like,
not-
We already have the armor.
It's not really
Go to,
tell.
wait, I'm gonna send you a screenshot.
Wait, should I fish? Should I fish right now?
Maybe not.
Why is there like gold drop around the place? What the hell?
Wait. How do you get this? Crimson Mimic.
Yeah, it's gone. Yeah, it's gone. It's gone. I'm so tempted, by the way. Like,
are you having like frame issues? Like, just wondering. Like, is your game like slowing down?
he's lagging because
My
he's
game
like
slows down, like,
on the
a
other
lot.
side of the world. Like,
Much as slows the
than the
fuck down.
server.
Okay. If there's no frame issues, then I don't know what. Because sometimes, like, if you have like, if you're playing on a server and your like system is slow, sometimes like the server will have to like speed enemies up so like that you can catch up to where they actually are. But if you're not having FPS
Oh, yeah,
issues,
Billy,
then I
go
don't know why.
fishing in Crimson Biome. You need this. Wait, hold on.
Let me go fishing Crimson Biome.
Okay, Chad, we
I'm
have to
gonna
go
send you a
mining.
screenshot.
Let's go.
fish.
Over there. Nah, not over here.
Alright, there you go.
Let's go.
Fuck that shit. Flesh catcher.
Let's go here and get some titanium. Switch your weapon and the boots. If anyone has titanium over, please let me know.
Spider fang.
I need boots and weapon. Ranger gun.
Wait, do you have Spider Fang? Can you give it to me?
Yeah, sure. Hold on. Where are you?
I'm at the cave.
What? I was low
Okay.
health. I didn't even realize.
Can you teleport to me? Can you teleport to me?
Oh, there you
What,
go.
what are you trying to do with spider fangs? That sounds interesting.
It's
Yeah, but-
summoner. It's summoner. It's for summoner.
Oh yeah, I'm not
Ah,
using some. I don't need that shit.
Yeah, it's kind of like fossil in the beginning for ranger, but instead, yeah, for the summoner.
Yep.
I need some weapons. I need a better melee, bro.
What's like the special stuff for a ranger? It's the mushroom guy thing, right?
Yeah, mushroom stuff is exclusively for rangers.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. Is there any like? Oh, there's no water here. Let me teleport.
I feel like Lias should be coming on right. Oh, I see so bad for ice and everybody.
Let me drop
It's
down.
gonna be pain.
Oh, this is holy shit, yo, Arrow, this is fire. God damn.
It's gonna be
It's
a
like Pinterest
pain.
shit. It's like what do you see on Pinterest? Boats. This is something I've seen like on Pinterest.
Well,
Aesthetic shit.
to be honest, no, it's not gonna be pain because I'm like mining all the shit already. They can just get right into it.
Wyverns. Or like different from harpies?
Oh yeah, they are definitely slightly different for sure.
Oh no.
Just a mild difference between
The
harpies
wings.
and wyverns, just like a mild, itsy bitsy tiny difference.
Yeah, it's probably the
Yeah.
boss fight of the game. I had
Very long
Oh.
harpy, yeah.
a very long harpy. Oh, fair enough. I might just go and fish. Go and fish in the Crimson. I don't know if it yields anything good, but I'll trust Willy's words.
It's like one of the best.
Titanium.
Alright, fishing in Crimson in hard mode. Let's see.
Yep.
Got a feather.
Because you
I
can
had a
only get it
harpy
on
feather.
fishing.
Bro, I had a harpy feather. It's like gone, bro. Like it's made. It's like used for wings, but like I lost it.
Wait, is that titanium? No, right? No.
Looks like tungsten.
Hard mode ores. Oh, okay.
What is this? Another trifold maps. They're just laying around here.
It's rare though, Billy. So you
Oh,
gotta
okay.
be patient about it. It's like really rare.
Yeah. Hope I'm lucky enough then.
Wait, you sure I don't get 4 damage?
Why do 1 damage? Yeah, why does my frogs do 1 damage?
Yeah,
Go
but
really high up
summoner is so
and
bad
jump
right
and do
now.
not press spacebar at all and see. Put nothing on but wings and then you can test them.
Yo, I
Damn,
got poison
crazy.
staff. Who wants it, bro?
Wings are the goat.
You got what?
Poison staff. I got another.
Definitely goats.
There's like only one type of rings, right? There's like no
I
best
don't like-
wing in the game. Like
Oh no,
Ram
they are
Rune
all
is
different
kinda
stats.
good.
Yeah, like-
Wings are all different.
The ram
There's
is
very
kinda
little
good.
the same.
I mean,
wings,
what
they're all
it
different.
says is allows flight and slow fall. So I guess that's with every ring. Like
Willy, we need to grind some wings, bro.
I
Oh,
can't
shit.
make one because I have the feather.
How the feather is gone,
mean-
bro.
I mean, like the what do you call this?
The harpy feather?
Yeah, the harpy feather. Yeah.
Yeah, I have one.
I got
Mine
one.
is gone.
was burned to a crisp by some
Burned to a-
Pearlwood crate.
archer.
Oh, you're fishing in the gay biome. Oh no, wait, no, wait, wrong. No, I was thinking something
I
else.
got some paladin.
Pearl wood, like the actual wood.
No,
itself
first I
is
want full titanium. If you help me out, then yes.
I'm in crimson right now.
Yeah.
Crimson.
I'm like super close to full titanium. Like, help me out, and then we do Queensland, bro. For sure.
I don't think we can
Why does my
handle.
summon do like 1
these
damage?
slime.
Shit is weak.
Yeah, we can try to like check out our current strength. That's for sure. Yeah. But I want full titanium first.
The hell is this?
Like, I'm like all open to trying, but
Guys,
we're definitely gonna
the
fail.
ram
But
rune is so
trying is like fun.
Like, spamming damage into attacks is so holy, so good.
Why do I have to obsidian sheet still? Keep it?
Could this be like?
Will do, bro.
Oh no, it can't be.
God damn, bro.
Will keep, but error, my friend. What are you doing?
Oh really?
Hey, let's do a little interview round again, like what everybody doing, stuff like that. So I am right now trying to get titanium ore, so I can make the greaves and my titanium ranger weapon. That's all I'm doing right now. Next up, we have Thanos.
Me, I am right now kind of all over the place, but like I guess primarily trying to get the. Well, I just died right now, but I guess my main goal would be trying to get souls of light so I can make myself magic weapons, specifically. Yeah, the fucking upgrade to magic missile. I'm gonna have like some decent weapon of surviving this world. In terms of armor, I'm ready. I got full titanium already, so yeah. Just looking for weapon materials right now. This world is painful, and difficult.
Indeed.
Dude, I need titanium. Where is it? It's all mined. How do you spawn more of that new ore? What do you have to do?
Destroy those
You get
altars.
fish for it, I think.
And yeah,
Get your
fishing as
fish
well.
for it.
Because like when you destroy the altars, like to bless the world, it's like it has diminishing returns. Like it's only like the first few that don't do a lot, and the more you do of them, like less and less you get.
Yeah. What about you, Billy?
I'm trying to farm a better weapon because I have the full titanium set. I need to upgrade to Knight's Edge. It's kind of it's pretty good, but I just need something better.
Yeah, Knight's Edge is definitely a nice like just carry through like super early hard mode.
Yeah, it's pretty
Melee
good.
especially.
I could use a better weapon eventually, for sure.
Yeah, something better
I
than
have
Knight's Edge.
Paladin
is
bar.
definitely-
Oh
I
my
probably don't
God.
want to sell it.
Well, I need the greaves and the weapon.
Really, do we need Mithril?
Oh.
Come spawn, Error. Come spawn.
I'll sell the
Let's
Mithril.
check
I
out.
don't need that shit.
Mithril is kind of like silver and tungsten. It's just like worse gold, worse
Oh,
titanium. You can just skip it if you get full titanium.
Yeah, I sold it. I sold it.
Oh, you found a
I mean,
like.
don't
Error,
sell-
come spawn,
I mean,
bro.
don't sell that, because maybe we can use it for like buildings and stuff.
Yeah, let's check it out real quick. If I do this,
Yeah. You can sell like
I
a lot
have
of stuff.
almost
You're gonna
4
get.
platinum coins. I'm really rich, bro.
grease. Wait, what was it?
Sir.
I'm rich.
Was it this? Yeah.
Need a better equipment though.
We all need a better equipment, bro.
Yeah.
we all want it.
No,
I
I'm
should get
talking about the
extra
repeater. Titanium leggings. Ja. So, full titanium. Attacking generates a defensive barrier of titanium shots. Next up, we have the titanium repeater. How much is this? 13. I need 12 more bars. And then we can talk about doing something. 12 more bars. Nah, Onyx is slow and I remember using it. It's super boring. I wanna use the repeater. Which Gabo? Like, what is that?
Gabo is an Empress of Light
The world
drop
is
or what?
6%
That's
yellow
kind
and
of...
14% crimson.
Must
You have
be
a
a
lot
different
of
one.
work to do.
No, I want the repeater right now. That's the 12 bars. Arrow, come, drum me up.
That's true.
We can do it real quick.
Are you kidding me, bro? Okay. This damn spider.
Donas, do you have 12 bars, titanium bars?
No, I've stopped mining titanium. I have 3 pieces of titanium ore on. 3 pieces of ore. Does that help you?
No.
I think we have some. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
Max,
gonna
if you
check.
want some, I'm pretty sure we're like.
Where is
probably,
it?
like, use-
I'm coming. I need.
I only have 3 bars.
Yeah, that's better than nothing. I take it.
Alright, where are you?
I'm coming to you.
Alright, here you go.
Nice. Alright. That's 6, 8. Let me make some real quick.
I still take so much damage with full titanium. That's insane.
But Lance, how much defense you
Bro.
have?
Yeah. It
Bro, what is this space?
still take like a lot of damage.
How much defense do you have?
So of light.
Error? 5 bars. That should be doable. Let's focus up and do that. Repeater or... Yeah, the Onyx thing, yeah, maybe future, but right now I want to I want a repeater right now. That sounds fun. Yeah, let me just get 5 more and then we can do Queen Slime.
That's crazy. That is crazy talk, I'm telling you. I usually go for the next armor set. Like after
What's
titanium
like
before
the...
queen.
What's like the first boss you usually do in hard mode, Donas?
I usually go for twins immediately. Like I do the eyes, the worm, and then the skeleton. Kind of like in pre-hard mode, you do Eye of Cthulhu, then you do worm or the brain, then you do like skeleton. I do the same progress in hard mode. Mechanical eye, mechanical
enough.
worm, mechanical skelly. That's the order I do.
Yeah, well then we're not gonna do Queen
Souls of
Slime.
Light. I have 10 Souls of Light. I need so many more, I think. Souls of Light are like my top priority because there's like
Bro,
so many
Palladium
weapons.
is so useless. What the hell?
What's happening?
This shit is ass.
Goodness. Oh goodness gracious me. Pardon. Good night, error, baby girl.
Good night, bro. Getting hella DMs, bro. What the hell? Blade tongue. Blade
I got the
tongue. Yeah,
blade tongue. I've heard good things about that.
I might need it. Willie sent me a message on Discord like showing the blade tongue. So you know, I'm not gonna see like.
You got it?
No, I'm just like I just saw you do it.
Chat.
What?
Okay,
Where'd
it's
you go?
gone. It's gone.
Isn't this Isn't it like same as Night Edge?
I'm already being 50, bro. Damn. Really? That drops nothing?
Yo.
Hi.
I wish we had this guy like in our village.
Yeah, we need like multiple copies of the guide.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Sky price. 842.
Yeah, we got like run
Wait,
all the
what
way
do I
to
need
him
for-
and shit. Yo, what is this?
Is it just the souls of my body?
Oh, Willie, do you want to make a new house, by the way?
It was. Well.
New house?
Yeah, like a
Yo,
sky
go-
house or something.
Go
Like
up.
we have our like pre-hard mode house. We can make like a sky base or something.
Go up, bro. Go up.
Yeah, we can make something like up there, but
Ba, 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 ba.
bro, errors like
Ba, ba,
both is
ba, ba,
crazy.
ba.
Missions.
Da, da, da. Oh, yeah.
How? God dang, what was that arrow?
I gotta
Turned
check.
to
I gotta check
stone.
Wikipedia.
Lovely. This is not lovely, actually. This is horrid. Release me!
Oh, it's a 10. Whoa! Look at that pile.
With a beautiful pile. Oh, yeah.
248, bro. 248 damage. And I'm wearing full titanium. God damn.
Could be enough, but I'm still gonna get more. Let's get like 60.
Hello, Maxi. I can hear your drill. I was like, what the hell is that sound? It's Maxi, my drilling around.
What are you doing down here?
I'm just farming the enemies here. How about you? How about you, my good sire? My liege, my lord?
Titanium grind, bro.
Titanium grind, I feel you, I feel you. I was on that just minutes ago as well. Now I'm just farming these enemies.
Oh, here. Yeah, that should be enough then. Drill is also the goat, bro.
I'm looking at you mine and it's making me cringe, I can't lie.
It is the goat.
Bro, do you want to see the goat, bro? Nah. Oh, good heavens, wait. I tried to heal you, I don't know. There's no heal, bro, I don't know why I tried shooting you to
Easy,
heal you.
easy
Just, bro,
save.
my mind was on like Bit Heroes, bro, and I'm a healer in Bit Heroes.
That.
No! No! No!
Ah, well, that should be enough. That should be enough. What's everybody doing? Cool, 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 cool. So. Way more than enough. Repeater.
Peter. The horse is here.
Let go.
So you're switching from guns to bows, that is... Are you using both, actually? Interesting.
Wait. I mean, yeah, 65 damage. Ah, why not?
Yeah, Willie, do you want to make a more like natural looking house?
A what?
Like a more natural looking house, like a
Drop the
wooden
shit.
house, kind of like cozy looking, instead of like all dark and shit.
Yo, I got the wild titanium gloves, bro. This is good for like melee, I think.
Willie, do you want to make it or no?
We can
Welcome.
make it.
To the
Yeah,
lush...
like
the
the
lush
Damascus is like
greenhouse.
really nice.
Well, that's
It's
the
like
atmosphere and just nice and
natural,
cozy.
natural looking. Yeah, I mean our castle is like pretty fire, but like it's too like
Gives me murder incorporated vibes. You know?
yeah, fucking murdering vibes. Or like as
Where's the
freaking
Onyx Blaster? How do you make that shit?
You need something called a shotgun first, and I think you need something
Let me.
called what's it called? Dark shards, which you need to farm in the Crimson Desert.
Mm.
Yo, is Ice Rod any good?
I think it's a
Spawn out.
utility item. You can like spawn a block, just like a quite literal block of ice into thin air. So like if you want to start building from nothing, you can. Because like normally you have to have like blocks. So it's basically like a builder's item. It's actually kind of useful to just always have,
Ooh,
not as a
okay.
weapon, but like a tool.
Yep. Summons a block of ice. Greater mana potion. If anyone wants it, they're pretty cheap in our house. Like 4 silver for 200 mana. You got some belts.
Hello,
Yo.
my lord. Greetings. Oh, you probably have some
Music
copper
box
left.
has a chance to record songs with that.
I still just have the freaking fledgling wings. They give me so little flying power.
Hallowed Key?
Willy, I'll
Hallowed
find you
Key?
this
You got the hallowed key just randomly from a slime, bro. That's crazy.
You got a hallowed key?
Yeah.
Yo, let's spawn the mimic. Spawn the mimic, bro. But it's so
It's
hard
not
though.
for mimics, it's to open the chests in the dungeon. Like there's chests that have like specific locks.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I was thinking.
I mean,
the
let me guess, somebody
different-
already did it, right?
Well, I really doubt it. It's hard mode exclusive. You probably got the first key.
Oh my fucking goodness. A random
I
ass
think
slime.
you had the first key.
Oh yeah.
Key. Lucky
Shit, let's try it out.
Yo, what was that key do you need for the mimic again?
I mean, he would be lucky, but he's playing a ranger, so like, rip.
Wait, excuse me, Jonas?
All the biome chest loot is always the exact same every time. It's like it's set. It's not random. So like each biome chest is like one, like a very specific item.
Oh my god, freaky ass mod.
Well, you will see. It's not really useful for you or anyone really.
Anyone.
Well, it's a magic weapon, but it's just kind of it's just kind of weird. I mean, you can open it and find out. You will see.
Got a trifold map.
Ice, if you watch the stream, cool base, brother.
Oh, immunity.
I think he's sleeping right now.
Yeah.
Yo, where are these spiders, bro? Now I'm gonna go home. I think I have enough.
So, jungle crate.
Shit take. Bro, shit take, bro. His name is shit.
By the way, if you
Take.
check the map, I think what I did, I don't know if I got every single crate, but like I put like a big arrow above every most crate that I found, the biome crates. I wonder if they're obviously visible or not. Let me check. Oh my god, my scroll wheel, bro.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, if you quickly glance over the dungeon, there's like places with like these arrows. That's every that I found, the biome chest.
Okay, go down.
Just a nice quality of life thing I decided to do.
Finally got the armor.
How the hell is there nothing spawning next to me? I literally have a water candle. Unless they're like underground in a cave and I just can't see them. King, what? Lol, it's a natural spawn, that's unusual. Did y'all know that he can do that? He can just randomly spawn out of bumfuck nowhere. Slime goofy, yeah. It's actually kinda strong. It's just fucking hard mode now. Gain the defense or something.
Okay, I have the summoner items now. Finally, I just need the sentry. Is the spider sentry even good, bro? Like, is it even worth it?
I mean, I never played summoner, but I think most summoners don't ever use the sentries. Unless it's like a very stationary boss, like in a small confined arena that you just keep going around in circles and then maybe.
I can't open it. Why?
God, I'm so strong.
That's
Hel-
a jungle chest.
Wait.
I need the hollow
What?
chest, I think.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, there's multiple. I think there's like one for each biome or something.
Left.
Oh, my summons, bro. It's wrecking everything. It's so good.
I swear I have
They
it.
deal like
That doesn't
40
work.
They deal 45 damage.
How many summons do you have?
You might need to actually destroy
I'll
one
say-
torch above it. I think the torch is actually blocking it. Because like that's kind of like mine.
Should I do summoner or melee?
I think melee
Like
is
if
the,
I'm like if I lag a lot,
one
I
of the
probably should
strongest ones.
do. I probably
Bro,
should do
it doesn't
summoner.
work.
What? Wait.
Is that not a hallowed?
Wait, check on the map. Does it
Just
say
take the
hollow
melee,
chest?
bro. I think
Block
you're
hollow
the only
chest?
melee user we have.
Yeah, it does.
Then
But
you're
I'm
right
not-
clicking it, right?
I'm
It's
kind of
like-
I kind of suck
Yeah.
with the melee though.
And then what the fuck? I
I
don't
mean, it's
know.
up to
It
you,
should
really.
be just like that.
You wanna change? I
Wait.
mean, you can change.
You have to do some
I
bosses.
think it might
I'll
be
be
locked
back.
behind a boss. I think you have to kill a boss. I think it's not just hard mode.
Oof.
It's just yeah, that could be it. That's strange. I just never go for the biome chest, so like I wouldn't know because they're all kind of shit. I'm not gonna lie.
Alright then.
That's disappointing though, because you got it so early. Could have been like a nice like upgrade.
Yeah.
But like yeah, I think they're post Plantera actually.
I'm done grinding for the spiders.
Alright. Was good. Day 4 of Terraria.
Wanna do a hard mode boss?
Which one?
Oh, hell no.
The twins.
Oh yeah, why not? Why not? We can try it.
Really?
Yeah.
Free art.
Those have
Let's
to be
do-
nighttime for them.
Let's do twins and then we see if you can beat them.
Would go
Uh-huh.
crazy. I would go crazy.
We
I'm not gonna
are-
lie.
Cooked, bro. We're gonna get cooked.
Alright. Okay.
Okay, let me get my staff and maybe we can do it.
I'd like to get some hard mode weapons though, more than just the fucking laser rifle that I got from Wall of Flesh. Just this. Mobs are not cooperating.
Oh, yo, bro, the Abigail's flower, by the way, it's a new one. If you
Ah,
get
yeah, it
another Abigail's
evolves.
flower, it evolves. Yeah.
I
So
forgot
it's
about
good
that
for like
feature.
Wait, I'm gonna
yeah.
check if Lias is there.
How do you get how do you get frost?
Dub, am I safe if I AFK here?
I mean, you're in the safest biome, but like, there are mobs that go through walls and, you know, do 200 damage and whatnot.
Hmm. Wait, Zach? Alright, be right back then.
Like,
Let
maybe
me-
the safest place would be Error's, like, sand area that he made.
Let me go
I
to.
can't promise that, though. I don't know if
Let me just exit.
spawn in, like, places like that.
BRB, bro. Let me check if Lias is home. Chat. Elias is not home. He's probably gonna arrive in like an hour. He will stream later. I'm gonna go offline for today, I think. Yeah, I'm gonna go offline for today. And I will be on tomorrow again. I'm gonna make a schedule, I think. I'm gonna make a schedule so you guys always know when I'm live. That's what I used to do in the past. So basically like daily around 5 p.m. Germany time, something like that. I think it's pretty good time. But yeah, with this, I'm gonna say goodbye. Yo, boys, I'm gonna go offline for today. At least for stream. I might do some grinding off stream. Later, but
Play with us, Maxi boy.
yeah, I'm probably gonna play later again. A bit. I'm probably gonna do some fishing and like, yeah, shit like that.
Bro, don't be lying to us, boy. You're not gonna be fishing.
I won't do any progress off stream though. So yeah. Yeah. Be patient or it's over. See you later.
It's over. Arrivederci, me boy.
Bro, people are not patient. They are so addicted, I swear. They are so addicted. But yeah, they have to live with it. It's the pace of the playthrough is determined on me, basically, so I am the pace, basically. Is Lars live? Yeah, he's not there. Okay, was a cool stream. Thank you for watching. Drop a follow. I'm trying to reach 60 followers. I haven't got a single follower in like 4 days or so. It's very depressing. I personally think I'm shadow banned on Twitch for some reason. I don't know why, but that's my feeling. But let's leave all the negative shit beside. And I'm probably gonna see you all tomorrow around 5 p.m. Germany time. I really hope that you are gonna be there. And yeah, I'm also planning to play other games, not just Terraria. I wanna grind New World. I wanna grind Rocket League. And just games I really enjoy. I also wanna play some single player games. Yeah, we see how it goes. We see what the future brings. But for now, I'm gonna say goodbye. Thank you for watching day 4 of Terraria 2.0. And yeah, we're gonna see us tomorrow. There's a very high chance I'll be live tomorrow again. And yeah, generally speaking, I'm gonna be more active again. At least that's what I'm trying to do. You never know what happens. I'm not gonna promise anything, but we might see us tomorrow again. And with this, I'm gonna say goodbye, have a good day, and see ya next time.